Hey, good evening, and come on in, USA, Canada, International, Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus the five spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. This is your man G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator, YouTuber, host with the most, misunderstood, lonely nomad, unstoppable independent podcaster, and rookie podcaster of Lawton, Queens, New York. And you're rocking and hanging out with me on the 235th episode of Off the Meat Rat Chainz New York podcast. Live and direct from StreamYard, YouTube, and aside of myself is the Instagram live feed of the podcast show page. Make sure you turn on your notifications on Instagram and also follow the page on Instagram as well so you can know when each episode is going to be dropping and some rescheduling times. So you know what I mean. So anyway, anyway, let me just get into first things first, man. All right. If you'd like to support this podcast, actually, you're more than welcome to actually do that to make a charitable donation to my cash app to support this podcast and the other podcast shows that I do on a weekly basis. The cash app is $ G Money Stacks 555. That's $ capital G lowercase MONEY capital S lowercase TACKZ 555. Once again, it's not about breaking the bank. It's all about doing the best you can on any amount of money that you are comfortable that you want to donate of your choice that you desire will be appreciated. And by the way, you can do a 5-star rating alongside with a review, um alongside with Podchaser, Podfriend, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. 5-star rating will be appreciated. And if you on Spotify, make sure you share the episodes as well. That will be appreciated as well as you basically showing more support. You know what I'm saying? And and if you're new to the YouTube channel universe and you miss any new or previous latest episodes whatsoever, don't worry, I got you back on everything. I want you to go ahead and grab that subscribe button for me on the YouTube channel page of G Money Stacks 555, where you see all the New York episodes on there. In case you miss any of them, it's all there, uploaded and posted to the YouTube channel page. Tap the noni bell along with enabling alerts so you could be reminded of when the podcast show recording and times is going to happen. And stay tuned for more video content, upcoming episodes, previous episodes. Of course, share the episodes, share the videos, share, of course, the link. Make sure you download the episodes. Very important. And be sure to listen, stream, watch the episodes, and alongside with tell a friend to another friend, and of course, I'll handle the rest on where you can actually be able to listen to the episodes on every streaming platforms at the end of this show episode. All right. So let's see. Let's see what we got on the agenda today. All right, before we even go into New York Mass Transit files, I haven't done this in a long time actually, and I've been meaning to get back to this. I haven't done this So it's going to be, so the main thing we're going to be doing, we are going to get into um hold on a second here. All right, we're going to get into, hold on a minute. Yes, some mental health check-in. All right. I haven't done that in a while. Please forgive me. We're gonna get into this right about now. Let's get to it. All right. How am I feeling mentally, physically, and spiritually? You ask. Well, for the most part, mentally, physically, and spiritual. So the mental part of it, um, I was feeling a little lousy, despite the fact that I haven't. It's like the 20th day I haven't had a phone, so it's gonna be a while for me to get me a new phone, and unfortunately, I can't do anything because my driver's license is stuck in the garage. So I'm gonna have to figure out some way how to to get it out of there. But that's for next week. Anyway, physically and spiritually, I am doing all right. Um, yes, it can be a little. Yes, it can be. Um, it could take a toll out of a person for not having a phone for 20 days. Yes. But it's gonna be a while. I know certain people were trying to reach out to me and stuff, but it's gonna be a while. So um, I'm not sure when I'm gonna get a new phone, but it's gonna have to be probably probably in a couple of days. Who knows, man? And for those of you out there who have my number and stuff like that, don't you worry. When I get a new phone, I'm gonna need every single person to actually DM me on Instagram to DM me on Instagram to in order for me to get your numbers. So, but for now, everything's gonna be on hold. So there you have it right there. I just wanted to clarify some things actually, in case people were trying to reach out to me. I do apologize. Um, and for those of you who didn't know what was going on, apparently my phone broke down and turned off on me, and it can be a little difficult for me to fix a phone because I'm not a technician. So you know what I'm saying. So um, however, I did take the SD card out because that's where all the memories and stuff is in. So that's pretty much what's going on with me. So there you have it right there. And so yeah. That was your mental health check-in regarding myself. And I hope every single one of you out there is doing all right mentally, physically, and spiritually, even though there's some dark times going on. I get it, but um, you know, you're not alone in this. So that's what I'm gonna have to say on that one. Yeah, so we're gonna go into, hold on a second. We're gonna get into a little thing. Um yeah, so that was the yeah. So we're gonna get into the New York Mass Transit files right here. Here we go. Yes, our first transit news topic that we're going to get into um has to do with the Hudson River Rail Tunnel by Joe Biden, who wants to discuss this. Now, before I even get into this, let me give a shout out to somebody who just came into the Instagram live feed. Shouts to Sneakerhead Easy. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. And all right, so Joe Biden, let's get into this. Yes, so um hang on a minute here. All right, so President Joe Biden is visiting New York City Tuesday with plans to discuss investments by the administration in the Gateway Rail Tunnel project under the Hudson River. A White a White House spokesperson confirmed last week that the president plans to visit the Big Apple on January 31st, which already happened, noting the commander in chief will discuss how bipartisan infrastructure law funding for the Hudson River Tunnel project will improve reliability for the 200,000 passenger trips per weekday on Amtrak and New Jersey Transit. The president is expected to tour the West Side Yard at about 12:10 p.m. Tuesday. Both Mayor Eric Adams and Governor Kathy Hochul are expected to join him. Chris Calori, CEO of the Gateway Development Commission, which oversees the project, sang the president's praises and expressed excitement for the visit last week. End quote. There is no bigger advocate for our project and for transformative infrastructure projects than President Biden, said Calori in a statement. We are thrilled to welcome him to see how the Gateway Hudson Tunnel will improve the lives of hundreds of thousands of passengers every day. Construction is finally set to commence this year on the new underwater rail tunnels between New York and New Jersey, more than a decade after the existing 113-year-old tubes carrying Amtrak and New Jersey Transit trains under this Hudson River. Yeah, the Hudson River sustained heavy damage during Hurricane Sandy. Sheesh. Yeah, Hurricane Sandy. Yeah, that everybody remembers what happened with Sandy. Everybody knows that. I don't need to remind y'all about that. Um, I don't need to remind y'all about that. But Hurricane Sandy did a lot of damage still, unfortunately. So, um, so yeah. Yeah. All right. Yes, so the new tunnels would also enable substantially increased service capacity on Amtrak's Northeast Corridor, the nation's busiest passenger rail line. And there's more. Often dubbed the nation's most important rail project, progress was snagged during the Trump administration, but has inched forward under Biden, who declared the tunnel a priority. The massive project carries an inappropriately massive price tag. The bi-state GDC estimated this summer that the project would cost a total of about $16 billion and won't be done until 2038. Yes, $16 billion is how much it'll cost, but it won't be done till 2038, which is a long time from here. All right. Um the cost balloons to $30 billion when including the cost of supporting infrastructure on the New Jersey side. Wow. $30 billion. Wait a minute here. Yeah, $30 billion. The 2021 bipartisan infrastructure bill authorized $15 billion and appropriated $8 billion for the Federal Transit Administration's Capital Investment Grant Program, the primary funding vehicle for Gateway. In July of last year, the governors of New York and New Jersey agreed to split um, the remaining costs for the tunnel down the middle. So $16 billion, $30 billion, $15 billion, and $8 billion. Wow. Okay. Let's see. All right. So construction on the new tunnels themselves is not expected until 2024, which is next year. But last month, U.S. Senator Chuck Schumer announced a $292 million grant to fund the informal kickstarting of the project. The money will cover half the cost of concrete casing on a box tunnel under Hudson Yards, intended to connect the new underwater tunnels with Penn Station. Well, wow, $292 million. In other transit news that we're about to get to right now, we gotta talk about hang on a second here. Let's talk about hang on a second. Yes, so Grand Central Madison. Yes. Full Long Island Railroad service is finally set to commence at Grand Central Madison on February 27th. Metropolitan Transportation Authority Chief General Lieber announced on Wednesday. The brand new 714,000 square foot terminal deep under Manhattan's east side will until then continue to host only the Grand Central direct shuttle service to and from Jamaica, Queens, developed by um, Ac- Aquate riders with the new station and the ways it could change their commute. But the end of February will bring to fruition the MTA's ultimate goal with the mega project, increasing LARR capacity by more than 40% and shaving up to 40 minutes off riders' commutes. Um, okay. End quote. This is transformational, Lieber said at a press conference outside the MTA's Lower Manhattan headquarters. Faster, more convenient travel that brings Long Island and the city closer together is a major shot in the arm for the regional economy. For the efforts to get people back to offices, to shopping, to theater, to everything that connects us as neighbors and as New Yorkers who like to have the full experience of the region. Lieber said the station enables the LIRR to run an additional 271 trains per day in its service area, increasing capacity not only to Manhattan in the morning and back to the Long Island to the island in the evening, but also service for the growing class of reverse commuters who live in the city and work on Long Island. The station and the shuttle service opened to great fanfare last month after decades in the pipeline and a notoriously protracted design and construction process plagued by mismanagement and cost overruns. The project ultimately sported an eye-popping $11.6 billion price tag, making it one of the most expensive infrastructure projects in American history. Jeez Louise. Despite the splendor and the expense, it didn't take long for one of the city's longest escalators, bringing riders from the concourse to the platform 17 stories underground to break down at the terminal. Yeah, there it is, right there. And and if you'd like to learn about the MTA's LIRR schedules now reflect service into Grand Central Madison, you can learn more at the website new.mta.info/agency/Long Island Railroad/timetable. Okay, so let's see what's gonna go down. Okay. Let's see. Let me see. Yes, let's talk Uber. All right, so the city's proposed congestion toll should first target the real cause of gridlock, Uber and Lyft, according to a study by a former Big Apple transportation commissioner. The app based for hire vehicles account for 43.9% of Midtown Manhattan traffic, or more than either cabs or personal vehicles, according to research by Lucius Rixio, a Stern Business School adjunct professor who served as DOT boss under Mayor David Dinkins in the 1990s. Based on that, the city should focus its congestion pricing toll plan on app based services, at least at the outset, Rixio said. Hold on. The largest share of the vehicles on our streets are these for hire vehicles that pay nothing to be on our streets, he told the Post on Tuesday. There's nothing wrong with congestion pricing, but for hire vehicles should be charged first. People should recognize they are the real cause of congestion in Midtown. In 2019, for hire hacks began paying a $2.75 per ride congestion charge, which is not part of the toll plan. Hmm. Wow. Not part of the toll plan. That's crazy. But I don't know. Let's see. Um hmm. Let's see. So but Rixio noted that yellow taxi drivers currently pay around $15,000 in general annual fees. If the city charged app-based cars $5,000 in such fees per year, it could raise $500 million according to his estimates. Okay, a congestion pricing toll targeting for high drivers at the start would only help level that playing field further, he said. Hmm. Let's see. Okay. For his study, Rixio based his congestion results on 90 short videos he shot of daytime traffic at several midtown intersections in October and November, tallying up each vehicle type he observed. Although this group may not be a perfect random sample of Midtown, it is a varied collection of locations with a large number of vehicles observed, he wrote in the study. Speaking to the Post, Riccio pinned blame for the results on city leaders who permitted Uber, Lyft, and other companies to enter the market with almost no barriers to entry. The people who are advocates for congestion pricing did not speak up at all when 100,000 for hire vehicles, Uber, Lyft, etc., were allowed for almost nothing, no charge to fill up our streets, Rixio said. The MTA's congestion pricing program was passed by the state legislature and former Governor Andrew Cuomo in 2019. It is set to go into effect no earlier than the end of the year, with the tolls being recommended by a select panel and approved by the MTA board. The plan aims to reduce overall traffic in Manhattan's downtown by charging anywhere from to $29 to $23 per vehicle entering the borough below 60th Street. That's ain't that a fucking bitch? Ain't that ain't that a fucking bitch? $9 between $9 to $23. Wow. So that means you're gonna be paying over $30. Yes. Critics say the move could badly hurt the immigrant dominated taxi and app based industry, with the MTA is warning some drivers may be put out of work as a result. Taxi analyst Bruce Schaller, who helped craft ex-mayor um, Michael Bloomberg's failed congestion pricing proposal in 2007 and 2008, said Rixio is right to point out the disproportionate presence of app-based cars. But Charlotte cautioned against charging them the congestion fee while exempting taxis, even even at the start. Doing so would simply push customers to yellow cabs and not cut traffic, he said. You are not exempting cabs or Ubers or Lyfts or whatever the case may be. You are exempting the people in them, and are they are fungible. They'll move around, Charlotte explained. All right, you would benefit the yellow cat. You would benefit the yellow taxis, aka yellow cabs, which is a good thing. But you are not accomplishing your actual goal of reducing congestion, the analyst said. It would be a disaster if we put congestion pricing in and we didn't see a benefit. Yeah. Would it be a disaster? Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Hmm. A rep for Uber disputed Rick Seal's findings, pointing to a report from August by the city's Taxi and Limousine Commission that concluded the return of congestion shortly after the initial onset of the slamdemic cannot be attributed to the FHV, the FHV industry. Hmm. The Uber spokeswoman Freddie Goldstein added, a recently release review by the TLC found that the return of congestion in Midtown could not be attributed to the for hire vehicle industry, despite that fact. Uber, Lyft, and taxi riders have already paid nearly $1 billion in congestion fees since 2019, while other vehicles clogged city streets without paying a cent of those costs. $1 billion, damn. Ain't that about it? Ain't this some shit? Ain't this some shit, man? Um, yeah. Let me see. I don't know if I should make a question about this right here. I might make a question out of this for the Instagram podcast show page. You know what I mean? So we'll see. And okay, so um all right, so that covers trends and news. Let's get into an unfortunate passing. Yes, we have an unfortunate passing involving an Earth, Wind, and Fire member. And let's get into it right here on the segment right here called Chatting or the Jazz. Right here. So that's what we're gonna get into right here. And it struck me when I actually saw this. When I heard what happened with the drummer who is the member of Earth, Wind, and Fire, it really, really, really kind of struck me, and I didn't even know he passed. So we're gonna get into it right here in this segment right here, which is Chatting or the Jazz. So let's get to it. Okay. Unfortunately, we have some sad news that we gotta get to here. Um, and this is from Variety. Let's get into it right here. So the drummer's name is Fred White, one of the two drummers for soul group Earth, Wind, and Fire during the most successful decade in its history from 1974 to 84, died Monday at age 67. No cause of death was given. White was part of a family legacy at the Assemble's core as the brother of Verdine White and half brother of Maurice White. Ain't that something, man? That's terrible, man. That's terrible. You know what I'm saying? That's really terrible. Um, yeah, that's really terrible. Feel bad for the family though. Um, damn, damn. Um, okay, what the hell's going on here with this thing? Um, okay. Um, there was a sound effect I was trying to get to, but let me see. Because this is kind of crazy. Um, hold on. This is what I was looking for. Yeah. Um. Okay. So although long since departed from the group in 2000, he was inducted with other core members into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Besides playing on classic EWF albums, starting with "That's the Way of the World" in 1975 on through "Electric Universe" in 1983. White also played drums on 1970s albums by artists including Little Feat, Donny Hathaway, The Emotions, and Denise Williams. The death was announced by Verdine White on Instagram. Dearest family, friends, and fans, our family is saddened today with the loss of an amazing and talented family member, our beloved brother Frederick Eugene Freddie White, wrote Verdine. He joins our brothers Maurice, Monte, and Ronald in heaven and is now drumming with the Angels. Child protege member of the Earth, Wind, and Fire original nine with gold records at the young age of 16 years old. He was brother number four in the family lineup, but more than that, at home and beyond, he was the wonderful bro that was always entertaining and delightfully mischievous. Continued Verdine White is in his post, and we could always count on him to make a seemingly bad situation more lighthearted. He will live in our hearts forever. Rest in power, beloved Freddie. We thank you all for your love, blessings, and support at this time. Soar high, baby bro. We love you to the shining stars and back. Some other musicianal no, excuse me, musical giants weighed in with responses on Verdine's post, sending my love and deepest condolences to you and the family. Wrote Lenny Kravitz, I was blessed to have been in his presence and blessed to have been influenced by him, a true king, rest in power. Wrote Nile Rodgers, deepest condolences, love and respect. Love responded, Questlove simply. Um, and So the current edition of Earth, Wind, and Fire includes three members from the classic 70s lineup: Verdine White on bass, Philip Bailey on vocals, and Ralph Johnson on drums and percussion. Maurice White, Maurice White, the band's leader, died in 2016. Another member from that key period, sax player Andrew Wolf Wolfolk, died in April 2022. Johnson shared drumming duties with Fred White during their decade-long tenure in the band together. Having two drummers on stage was key to the band's big sound, wrote Drum Magazine. Given Fred White's young age compared to the band's longevity, it may come as no surprise that the drummer entered music full-time as a teenager, meeting halfway at 15 and going on tour with him. That stint resulted in White's presence on Donny Hathaway Live, considered one of the essential live albums of the soul era before he joined his brothers in Earth, Wind, and Fire. On Instagram, the official Earth, Wind, and Fire account shared a video of White doing a drum solo during our performance of Running during our tour of the world in 1979 at Rock Rock Palace in Essen, Germany. Rest in love. Beneath that initial post, Verdine White apologized for having it served as the first announcement of his brother's death. Friends and fans, sorry, this information was posted before I could make an official statement, wrote Verdine Dare. Yes, we're all grieving the loss, especially Fred's family. Thank you for your love, blessings, and condolences. Hard as it is to believe, given the enduring popularity of so many of the band's songs, only one of their hits, Shining Star, went to number one on the Billboard Hot 100, but eight of their singles topped the R&B chart, including September and the Beatles cover Got to Get You Into My Life, both in 1978. Among their other top 10 singles on the Hot 100 were the 1979 hits Boogie Wonder Boogie Wonderland, number 6, and After the Love Is Gone, number 2. September, which only reached number 8 on the Hot 100, has been certified 6 times platinum, by far their biggest selling single. Hmm. Yes. So so rest in power, sleeping power to Fred White, the drummer. All right. So let's get into what else we got on the agenda today. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Okay, let's talk Twitter. Let's talk Twitter for a sec. Looks like Twitter is in some hot water. Let's get into it. Actually, hold on a second. Elon Musk extremely hardcore Twitter. Let's do that and then we'll get to Twitter being in hot water. So, let's see. Let's see. Um, in April 2022, Elon Musk acquired a 9.2% stake in Twitter, making him the company's largest shareholder, and was offered a seat on the board. Luke Simon, a senior engineering director at Twitter, was ecstatic. Elon Musk is a brilliant engineer and scientist, and he has a track record of having a Midas touch when it comes to growing the companies he's helped lead, he wrote in Slack. Twitter had been defined by the catonic leadership of Jack Dorsey, a co founder who simultaneously served as CEO of the payments business block, formerly Square. Dorsey, who was known for going on long meditation retreats, fasting 22 hours. Sheesh, that's too much. A, a day. And walking 5 miles to the office, acted as an absentee landlord, leaving Twitter strategy and daily operations to a handful of trusted deputies. When he spoke about Twitter, it was often as if someone else were running the company. To Simon and those like him, it was hard to see Twitter as anything other than wasted potential. In its early days, when Twitter was at its most twittery, circa 2012, executives called the company the free speech wing of the Free Speech Party. First of all, free speech comes with limitations. And I said this before, free speech comes with limitations. And what I mean by that is, you know, you know, there's going to be certain things that people are going to be offended about. Granted, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Anyway, let's see. Let me see. Yes, so that was the era when the platform was credited for amplifying the Occupy Wall Street movement and the Arab Spring, when it seemed like giving everyone a microphone might actually bring down dictatorships and right the wrongs of neoliberal capitalism. That moment, which coincided with the rise of Facebook and YouTube, inspired utopian visions of how social networks could promote democracy and human rights around the world. Twitter um, rode this momentum to become one of the most important companies in tech, an all-consuming obsession for those working or merely interested in politics. Ugh, I hate politics. Sports and journalism around the world. Frequently, the platform set the news agenda and transformed nobodies into main characters. What it lacked in profits, it more than made up for in influence. So no one understood how to weaponize that influence better than Donald Trump, who in 2016 propelled himself into the White House in part by harnessing hate and vitriol via um his username feed. A new consensus that the site was a sewer made it worth a lot less money. Disney CEO Bob Iger pulled out of a bid to acquire Twitter, saying the nastiness on the platform was extraordinary. After the election and the blown deal, Twitter overhauled its content moderation policies, staffed up its trust and safety team, and committed itself to fostering healthy conversations. Never again would it let itself be used by a tyrant to sow discord and increase polarization. 2 days after the January 6th insurrection, the platform banned Trump. The company had seen the toll of unfettered speech and decided it wasn't worth it. This was the Twitter that irked Elon Musk so much that he became convinced he had to buy it. In his view, by 2022, the company had been corrupted, beholden to the whims of governments and the liberal media elite. It shadow banned conservatives, suppressed legitimate discourse about COVID, and selectively kicked elected officials off the platform who better to restore Twitter to its former glory than its wealthiest poster. No, he's not. No, he's not. Um, like Trump, Musk knew how to use Twitter to make himself the center of the convers- conversation. His incessant irreverent tweeting, violating every norm of corporate America, endearing his fans, pissing off his haters, and making him the second most followed active account on the site. At least 50% of my tweets were made on a porcelain throne, he tweeted one evening in late 2021. It gives me solace. Oh my gosh, man. Ah, this is ridiculous, man. And this is why everybody was saying that Twitter is going to be going from good to a disaster. And I say this because this is the same guy who wants to bring back Trump, and I couldn't believe it for myself, man. And especially the nasty shit that's going on Twitter. That's why I don't put. This is why I don't put my podcast shows on Twitter because of all the nastiness that's going on. So this is Twitter is about to be ready to crash and burn in hell for this shit. Yeah, I hate to say this though, man. It's going to be an epic fail watch. And it's not me just saying this though. It's going to be a fucking epic fail with Twitter. I hate to say this though, but it's gonna happen. Yeah, you get the gist of this shit though, man. You know what I mean? Um, yes. So, oh my gosh. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. So Musk offered to buy the company for the absurdly inflated price of $44 billion. Gee whiz. And the move thrilled employees like Simon, who chafed at Twitter's laid-back atmosphere and reputation for shipping new features at a glacial pace. Simon, who owned a portrait of himself dressed as a 19th century French general, told his team, which managed advertising services, that he wanted to build an impact-focused, um, egalitarian, and imperial empirical culture where any team member with a strong data driven justification gets the metaphorical center stage. Ha! Yeah, I don't believe this shit anyway. I don't really be on Twitter like that anyway, so that's just that's just me. Um yeah, so other employees noted the darker motives of Musk's career. The disregard he brought to labor relations, the many lawsuits alleging sexual harassment and racial discrimination at his companies, and found his interest in Twitter ominous. Ominous sounds about right, though, man. It really does sound about right, though. It really does. Yeah, let me see. All right. On Slack, a product manager responded to Simon's enthusiasm for Musk with skepticism. I take your point, but as a childhood Greek mythology nerd, I feel it is important to point out that story behind the idea of the Midas touch is not a positive one. It is a cautionary tale about what is lost when you only focus on wealth. Um, let's see. The comment would prove to be um prophetic. According to more than 2 dozen current and former Twitter staffers, since buying the company in October 2022, Musk has shown a remarkable lack of interest in the people and processes that make his new toy tick. He has purged thousands of employees, implemented ill advised policies, and angered even some of his most loyal supporters. Those who remain at the company mostly fall into two camps: people trapped by the need of for healthcare and visas, or cold-eyed mercenaries hoping to ascend through a power vacuum. Oh my gosh. Oh my fucking gosh, man. I can understand a lot of people being angry though, man, which kind of makes you feel like a rageaholic. And I and I and I know a chicken finger or two about being a rageaholic. I know a chicken finger or two about that because I seen it on streets before.
Why don't you look me up?
Yeah. Um. Yes. So. Let's see. Yeah. Um. Today, Musk has become notorious for the speech he suppresses rather than the speech he allows, from suspending journalists for tweeting links to his jet tracker to briefly restricting users from linking to their accounts on Instagram and Mastodon. In 3 months, Musk has also largely destroyed the equity value of Twitter and much of his personal wealth. He has indicated that the company could declare bankruptcy, and the distraction of running it has caused Tesla stock to crater, costing him $200 billion. Damn, $200 billion for this shit? Dang, man. No wonder he's about to slip and fall. Oh man. Oh man. If free speech was his mandate for Twitter, the platform, it has been the opposite for Twitter, the workplace. Dissenting opinion of or criticism has led to swift dismissals. Musk replaced Twitter's old culture with one of his own, but it's unclear with so few workers and um plummeting revenues. If this new version will survive, as one employee said in December, place is done for. Um, on October 26th, an engineer and mother of two, let's call her Alicia, sat in a glass conference room in San Francisco trying to explain the details of Twitter's tech stack to Elon Musk. He was supposed to officially buy the company in 2 days, and Alicia and a small group of trusted colleagues were tasked with outlining how its core infrastructure worked. But Musk, who was sitting 2 seats away from Alicia with his elbows propped on the table, looked sleepy. When he did talk, it was to ask questions about cost. How much does Twitter spend on data centers? Why was everything so expensive? Alicia was already tired of Musk's antics. For months, he had gone back and forth about buying the company where she had worked for more than a decade. He tried to back out of the deal, but Twitter sued, and the chief judge of Delaware's Chancery Court said a trial would move forward if the acquisition wasn't complete by October 28th. Facing what many legal observers called an easy case for Twitter, Musk caved. So here they are, trying to show Musk what he was about to buy, and all he wanted to talk about was money. Fine, she thought. If Musk wants to know about money, I'll tell him. She launched into a technical explanation of the company's data center efficiency, curious to see if he would follow along. Instead, he interrupted. I was writing C programs in the 90s, he said dismissively. I understand how computers work. Alicia knew Twitter had problems. When prospective employees asked her why she stayed there so long, she would tell them honestly that the company was incredibly inefficient. It took a long time to get by in on projects, and communication across teams was generally poor, but it operated with a benevolent anarchy through which anyone could influence the direction of the product. You didn't need someone in a position of power to explicitly grant you permission, Alicia says. It was very much a bottom up organization. Yeah, it was. It was. It was. It was, man. It was, man. It really was. So that's damn, man. Everybody in that used to work on Twitter already ran for the hills already. Yeah, um yeah, already ran for the hills though. So um unlike some of her colleagues, Alicia wasn't reflexively anti Musk. She respected what he had done at his companies and felt hopeful that, as someone who thought of himself as an engineer, he would support her highly technical work. But Musk had a different interest that day. Twitter, Twitter, he said, should immediately get into video, and and we really should be able to do long form video and attract the best content creators by giving them a better cut than YouTube, he said, according to Alicia's recollection. The infrastructure engineers in the room agreed that adding support for long form video was technically possible, but their job was building stuff, not strategy or marketing. It seemed as though Musk didn't understand the basic organizational structure of a social media company. It was as if a rich guy had bought a restaurant and started telling the cooks he wanted to add new dining room. Might he want to speak with the media product team instead? Just then, David Sachs, a venture capitalist and friend of Musk, who had advised him on the acquisition, walked into the room. A fellow native of South Africa, Sachs had worked with Musk at PayPal and later um, led the enterprise social networking company Yammer to a $1.2 billion sale to Microsoft. And David, this meeting is too technical for you, Musk said, waving his hand to dismiss Sachs. Wordlessly, Sachs turned and walked out, leaving the engineers who had gotten little engagement from Musk on anything technical slack jawed. His imperiousness in the middle of a session he appeared to be botching was something to behold. Um, the next day, Alicia and her colleagues gathered in the cafeteria of Twitter's San Francisco headquarters for a long planned Halloween party. The room was decorated with miniature pumpkins and fake spider webs. Employees tried to get in the holiday spirit, but rumors were swirling that Musk planned to cut 75% of the company. People were audibly sobbing in the bathrooms. One company leader recalled the surreal moment of crying about the end of Twitter as they knew it, only to look up and see a person in a Jack Sparrow costume amble by. Outside on the balcony, one entertainer blew bubbles for staffers' children. Another figure dressed as a scarecrow seemed to have a handler following him. There were whispers. Could it be Musk himself in costume? It turned out to be a hired performer. As Alicia walked out of the office that evening, she passed Twitter's head of product, Jay Sullivan, who was standing alone, looking solemn. It's done, he said. The deal had closed during the party. It took only a few hours before news broke that Twitter's executive team had walked the plank. Paraj Agarwal, the CEO, was out, along with Vijaya Gatto, the head of policy, and Nez Siegel, the chief finance officer. They had known what was coming and stayed away from the office. Sean Edgett, the general counsel, was also fired. He had been present for the handover and was unceremoniously escorted out of the building during the Halloween party. Hmm. Okay. The days surrounding the acquisition passed in a blur of ominous, unlikely scenes. Um, Musk posing as the world's richest prop comic, announcing his takeover by lugging a kitchen sink into the office, entering Twitter HQ. Let that sink in. Um, a fleet of Teslas in the parking lot. Musk is intimidating security details standing outside his glass conference room as if guarding the leader of a developing nation. Musk's 2-year-old son um toddling around the second floor, occasionally crying. Um Employees braced for layoffs, but no word came from Musk. People hunted for information on their unofficial Slacks, Discords, and Signal chats, while glued to Musk's Twitter feed for news like everyone else. Hey, all, hey, all! Don't forget to complete your Q3 goals. One employee wrote darkly on Slack. Right, stayed employed, responded a colleague. Even Twitter executives were clueless. Chief Marketing Officer Leslie Berlin sent an email encouraging employees to say hi to Musk if they saw him in the office and promised an all hands meeting would happen that Friday. An invitation for a company wide assembly appeared on people's calendars, then disappeared. When employees followed up on Slack, the head of internal communications critically said she would send out a communication when there are further details. Musk brought in a cadre of close advisors, including Sachs and his fellow venture capitalist and podcast co-host Jason Calacanis. Calacanis, Musk's celebrity lawyer Alex Shapiro, Steve Davis, the head of his tunneling startup, The Boring Company, and Reram Krishnan, who had previously been a consumer product director at Twitter. To employees, this crew would be known by only one name: the Goons. Ooh, the Goons. Oh my gosh. That would be crazy, man. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Who was I? Okay. On Musk's full day in charge, October 28th, the executive assistant sent Twitter engineers a Slack message at the behest of the Goons. The boss wanted to see their their code, employees were instructed to print out 50 pages of code you've done in the last 30 days and get ready to show it to Musk in person. Panicked engineers started hunting around the office for printers. Many of the devices weren't functional, having sat unused for 2 years during the slandemic. Eventually, a group of executive assistants offered to print some engineers' code for them if they would send the file as a PDF. Within a couple of hours, the goons assistants sent out a new missive to the team. Update: stop printing. It read, please be ready to show your recent code within 30 to 60, preferably on your computer. If you have already printed, please shred in the bins on SF10. Thank you. Oh, wow. Alicia was scheduled to meet with Musk around 11 a.m. She felt bad about the anxiety coursing through the office, even if she was sanguine about the process. As a back end engineer, she was used to be woken up in the middle of the night because something on the platform was breaking, a crisis that could impact millions of Twitter users. It took more than a code review to phase her. She had printed out a few lines of Python rather than her actual code repository. Um, Python is more at Musk's level, she says. The mandate had felt like a stunt, and she doubtedly he would really engage. I'm not gonna explain the project I've spent 10 years working on in a fraction of an hour competing with the 10 other people. I'm just not. She never had to. The meeting was pushed back, then canceled. We didn't actually get to show our code to Elon, she says, laughing, which is a shame. I was very much looking forward to it. The botch code review did little to deter the goons, who still needed to figure out which of Twitter's 7,500 employees were needed to keep the site running and who could be jettisoned. At 10 that same night, they told managers they should stack rank their teams, a common but cold method of evaluation that forces managers to designate their lowest performers. Um, Amir Shavat, who managed Twitter's developer platform and had led large teams at Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, was perplexed. Every company did stack ranking differently. Should they sort workers by seniority, impact, revenue generated? No one had an answer. They said, we don't know. Elon wants a stack rank, Shavat says. The project succeeded in generating large lists of names, but because different managers had ranked employees according to their own methods, the results were incoherent. If I were to go get that list, I would probably throw it in the garbage because it's completely useless, Shavat says. In the meantime, managers and other senior employees began receiving calls late at night from the goons, who are the best people on your team. They would ask, who's critical, who's technical. The questions reflected Musk's certainty that Twitter could be run with a relatively small number of top engineers and almost no one else. Meanwhile, managers were fielding worried questions from workers, but the only one that mattered, will I still have a job here? No one could answer. The New York Times reported that one engineering manager puked in the trash can after being told to cut hundreds of workers. Even Shavat didn't know if his position was safe. Soon another directive came from above. Large meetings were banned. Musk and the goons were wary of sabotage from soon to be fired workers and didn't want to risk any of them getting a warning before they were cut. The message was group meetings are no longer a thing, Shavat recalls. And if you do that, you risk getting fired. Hmm. Shavat had been scheduled to meet with Sachs at 1 p.m. to walk him through the developer platform's product roadmap. Um, let's see. Every hour, an assistant messaged Shavat to say the meeting was delayed. When it finally began around 8 p.m., Shavat explained what his team did. They ran the services that allowed outside developers to create apps that connected to Twitter, a feature of any major platform. It would be a critical component if Musk pursued his publicly stated aspiration to make Twitter a super app like WeChat, which has a thriving economy of mini apps made by outside engineers. Shavat thought Sachs seemed bored. He spent most of the meeting checking his phone. He didn't want to understand anything, Shavat says. It made him want to cry, especially since he had actually been eager to work with Musk. I would have worked really hard for him, he said. He says. Similar meetings were taking place across the company. Musk had imported dozens of engineers from his other organizations, including Tesla, Neuralink, and the Boring Company, to help run Twitter and call its staff. Two of his cousins, Andrew and James Musk, were added to the company, no, added to the employee directory. Twitter employees were soon either sitting around waiting to be fired or placed on Musk's projects, pulling all nighters at the office and trying to meet arbitrary deadlines, even as product plans changed by any day. If they didn't meet their deadlines, they were told they'd be fired, a fate that to some looked increasingly desirable. The following week, on November 3rd, employees received an unsigned email from Twitter relaying that the time for layoffs had started. By 9 a.m. the following day, everyone would receive a note telling them whether they still had a job. From Twitter, a laugh out loud. What fucking cowards? A former employee said by text. Your people are Twitter, you shits. That night, hundreds of employees gathered in a Slack channel called hashtag Social Water Cooler, which had become the company's de facto town square since Musk took over. They posted salute emoji and blue hearts solidarity for those who were being cut and for those who deeply wanted to be shown the door but were somehow asked to stay. One person posted a meme of Thanos from Avengers Infinity War, the supervillain who exterminates half the living beings in the universe with a snap. By morning, 50% of the workforce had lost their jobs, well over 3,000 people. The alternation between relief about being done, sadness about waves at gaps and fires were where there was cool people, hope, anxiety that must might fuck with s- severance, and exhaustion at thought of interviewing is a bit much, wrote the same former employee, but veering toward relief. The worker left a message for Twitter leadership in a main Slack channel before their access was cut. News articles aren't comms. Tweets from an account associated with half baked rants, copy pasted memes, and the occasional misinfo aren't comms. Secondhand, internal sharing and employee slaughtering aren't comms. I also hope failure of this past week hangs heavy on you to remind you to do better. To avoid violating federal labor law, Musk said employees would be paid for the next 2 months, though they would lose access to Twitter's systems immediately. But even this played out haphazardly. Some workers lost access on schedule, while others lingered in Twitter's critical systems for months. The layoffs wiped out Shavat and his entire team. Alicia kept her position as she expected, but was left with survivor's guilt. She started quietly encouraging her workers to prepare an exit strategy. Oh boy. This is crazy, man. I really do feel bad for the Twitter workers that got laid off though, man. So this is pretty bad. This is pretty bad though, and I'm not even gonna really continue with this right here, man. And in other Twitter news we gotta get to right here is the lawsuit. Yes, the lawsuit. In other Twitter news, Twitter is being sued by landlords in San Francisco and London after failing to pay rent on its offices as new owner Elon Musk takes on extreme cost cutting strategies that reportedly include simply not paying the bills. The Crown Estate in London, which manages property belonging to King Charles III, filed a claim against Twitter in the High Court in the UK capital last week. The alleged rental arrears relate to office space near Piccadilly Circus in central London, according to the BBC. Hmm. According to the BBC. Um, The owner of Twitter's San Francisco headquarters has also sued Twitter after it failed to make at least monthly rent payment for January amounting $3.4 million, according to documents filed on Friday with the Superior Court of California. This comes after a report earlier this month stated that Twitter owed $136,260 in overdue rent on a separate office in San Francisco and was facing a lawsuit. Also in January, workers at a Twitter office in Singapore were evicted due to unpaid rent on the building. Twitter did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that right there is this is pretty bad. I gotta say, it's pretty much game over for it's pretty much game over for it's pretty much game over for Twitter. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I gotta say, it's a shame that a platform like this is actually going to be falling apart. And yeah, it right there. It's just ridiculous what Elon Musk is doing, man. It's ridiculous right here. Um, yeah, I got it. This is crazy. Um, this is really crazy right here. So game over Twitter. No thanks to Elon Musk, piece of shit. Yeah. So the actions came only a few months after Twitter was taken over by Elon Musk, the co-owner of Tesla and SpaceX. In October last year, Musk paid $44 billion for the platform and quickly initiated sweeping job cuts to the firm's 7,000 strong workforce, cutting it by 50%. 50%? Oh my gosh. Hmm. Yes. Damn, man. So Musk's takeover has not been without issues, including a chaotic relaunch of the blue check scheme for verified users that led to a number of impersonator accounts and advertisers withdrawing from the platform over concerns about a rise in hate speech. Oh Lord, can't believe this shit, man. This it's fucked up, man. This is why certain celebrities is leaving the platform anyway. And I don't have Twitter at the moment. So I don't even use it. So all right, so the social media company um was reportedly hit by a 40% drop in revenue after more than 500 clients paused their spending with high profile brands such as Audi and Pfizer halting advertising. The BBC reported that the Crown Estate took legal action after previously contacting the social media company about the alleged rental arrears at its office space. John Wallace, a solicitor and director at the London-based law firm Ridgemont, said the hearing between the Crown Estate and Twitter was likely to take place in the next 6 months and warned that the UK's struggling economy could lead to an increase in rent arrears claims. Um, he said the receding of the UK's economy will inevitably um, lead to commercial landlords having to take action against non-paying tenants. I would expect to see a sharp rise in commercial rent arrears claims in second and third quarters of 2023, given the Office for Budget Responsibilities prediction that a recession will last until at least autumn 2023. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's crazy, man. That's really crazy right there, man. Oh boy. So the state is one of the largest um landowners in the UK. And although the portfolio belongs to the monarch, it is not private property. The revenue from the estate goes to the treasury for public spending, and in return, the monarch receives the sovereign grant. Musk's property woes are just the latest legal headache for the billionaire, who has been testifying in recent days in a separate class action lawsuit from Tesla investors alleging his 2017 tweet misled them about funding to take the electric car maker private. Man, that's crazy, man. Ah, man, oh man, oh man. All right, so let's go into the next. Let's go into something else, man. That's been brewing actually, and this is involving James Gunn. All right, now 2 episodes ago we talked about the whole issue with what went down with the situation with Henry Cavill being fired as um as the actor who plays Superman. And actually there's more to this story too. So we're going to get into it right here right now. And and of course the name of this episode right here is the cause and effect DC Comics gets a reboot. And we'll find out why right now actually. And let's see. So let's get into it though. So the DCEU is dead. Long live the DC Universe. After months of anticipation and much speculation, new DC films had James Gunn and Peter Safran held a press conference to unveil the first slate of projects in their new unified vision. Chapter 1 of the DCU will be called Gods and Monsters, consisting of 5 movies and 5 television series that will interconnect between 2025 and 2027, which is between 2 to 4 years. Gunn stressed that this isn't everything they have planned for Chapter One, but rather just a sampling of the projects he's cooked up with a writer's room of talent that includes Christian Hodson, Birds of Prey, Jeremy Slater, Moon Knight, Drew Goddard, Cloverfield, Crystal Henry, HBO's Watchmen, um, and the comic writer Tom King. Nevertheless, that sampling remains deeply ambitious with new Superman and Batman movies, another bite at the Green Lantern apple, a Wonder Woman prequel series, and much more. Here's a full breakdown of what's to come for the future of the DCU. Hmm. Um. So Ezra Miller's Flash lives on. It seemed reasonable to assume that after the last 4 movies left over in the DCEU slate set to release this year, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, March 17th, The Flash, June 16th, Blue Beetle, August 18th, and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, December 25th. Gunn would recast those respective roles or else ignore those films altogether. But Safran confirmed that may not exactly be the case. These 4 movies are terrific. There's no reason why any of the characters or the actors that play in those characters are not part of the DCU. There's nothing there's nothing that prohibits that from happening. We'll incorporate characters from the past, but mostly we'll cast anew. Um okay. So Gunn made specific comments about the Flash star Ezra Miller, stating the door isn't closed for continued projects, stating Ezra is completely committed to their recovery. We are fully supportive of that journey they are on right now. When the time is right, when they are ready to have that discussion, we will all figure out what the best path forward. Gunn went on to declare The Flash as one of the greatest superhero movies ever made. So either he's fitting into that company man role rather nicely, or it really is that good, which would explain why a corporation is so hesitant to cut ties with the increasingly problematic problematic Miller. Speaking of problematic, Gunn responded to Shazam star Zachary Levi's seemingly anti-vax tweet from the weekend by saying he can't be changing my plans all the time because an actor says something that I don't agree with. Um, okay, so Creature Commandos kicks things off on a weird note. Okay, that's weird. So based on a team of heroes that debuted back in the 1980s, Weird War Tales Creature Commandos will be a 7-episode animated series written by Gunn. The team was initially a grouping of classic monsters founded founded to fight Nazis, but Gunn states the project will be a modern update of the concept. Um The full lineup brings back some favorites from Gunn's the Suicide Squad, including Rick Flag's father, Rick Flag Sr., and Weasel alongside characters Nina Maz- Mazursky, Dr. Phosphorus, Eric Frankenstein, the Bride of Frankenstein, and G.I. Robot, according to reports. While there's not a cast in place yet, production is well underway already with an eye towards performers who are well suited to both voice actor, no, excuse me, acting for animation and portraying the team in live action. One moment. All right, let's see. Okay, so Walla continues the Peacemaker story. Viola Davis will reprise her role as shadowy government official Amanda Waller, this time in her own HBO Max series, spinning off from Gunn's Peacemaker, helmed by Crystal Henry and Jeremy Carver of the Doom Patrol series. The show will see Waller partner with members of Team Peacemaker for a mission that's out of this world. Considering Peacemaker focused on an alien invasion, we might see this series pick up on some of those threads. Okay, a new Superman reboot will officially start the DCU. Gunn calls his upcoming Man of Steel film, Superman Legacy, the true beginning of the DCU, stressing that while it thankfully won't be a true blue origin story, it will explore the younger days of the character. Superman Legacy will see Kal-El balance his Kryptonian roots with human childhood. Um, Gunn stated that this version of Superman is the embodiment of truth, justice, and the American way. He is kindness in a world that thinks that kindness as old fashioned, hinting at a depiction that hews closer to Soup has trademark character traits and away from some of the moodier updates seen in the Snyderverse. Legacy hits on July 11th, 2025. Wow. Wow. Notably, the artwork shared here is from Grant Morrison and Frank Quietly's All-Star Superman, universally hailed as the modern Superman story, which reimagines the 12 labors of Hercules for a Superman at the end of his life. Legacy probably won't draw on that specific story since this is a reintroduction, but anticipate scenes and tone like this beautiful moment where Superman saves a suicidal girl to find their way into Gunn's script. Gunn is currently only committed to writing the script. But considering this is the DCU's first big project, it seems inevitable that he'll step up to direct. Gunn's key to another swing at Green Lantern True Detective. The terrestrial based Lantern series will focus on two most notable holders of that mantle, Hal Jordan and John Stewart. Gunn described the series as the DCU's version of True Detective, with Jordan and Stewart's galactic space cops investigating a terrifying mystery that will tie into the larger DCU story. Um, Green Lantern projects are among the most notorious of DC failures historically, most notably Ryan Reynolds' much maligned 2011 Green Lantern movie. But hopefully, an HBO budget and Gunn and Safran's taste level can help the series shine bright. The Authority is here to kick ass. Based on the Wildstorm series of the same name, the Authority will chart the story of a superhero group that's not afraid to assert their unique methods of protecting the planet. Gunn called it a very different look at superheroes, as the team will battle using any means necessary. In a recent comic book run, none other than Superman is the leader of the Authority, which was met with some surprise by fans. Gunn commented on that connection, stating that the project was really connected to the Man of Steel. So anticipate this film to have some connectivity tissue there. Okay, so Paradise Lost is Wonder Woman's Game of Thrones. The HBO Max series Paradise Lost will explore the early days of Wonder Woman's home island of of Team T Mascara, and takes place before Diana's birth as the Isle without men begins to establish itself. Full of political machinations, Gunn's comp was unsurprisingly Game of Thrones as various Amazonians jockey to control the throne. Shit. Think of it as the Cersei versus Elena Terrell season of Game of Thrones, uh, but extended to a whole series. Batman gets a reboot and a son. Really though? Really though? You may not know it by the recent Darth Door cinematic tales, but Batman is a canon- canonical sex haver in the comic books, to the point of having a son named Damien. A new Bat film from Gunn called The Brave and the Bold will explore the complicated family dynamics between Bruce and his son, who dons the Robin mantle despite being raised by assassins from the League of Shadows, inspired by the Grant Morrison and Frank Quietly series. Gunn told reporters that Damien is a little son of a bitch who oh shit. Um yeah, a little son of a bitch who will keep Bruce on his toes. Gunn specifically stated Ben Affleck would not return to the role, but they remain in touch with America's most famous Duncan Lover about directing a future project. But the Batman will continue. Speaking to the Cape Crusader, the new trilogy, jump started by Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson last year, will live on, parallel to Gunn and Safran's efforts. The anticipated sequel now has a date, October 3rd, 2025, and an official title, The Batman Part 2. The Colin Farrell Penguin series is still a go as well and will serve as a bridge between the first film and the sequel. Additionally, Gunn stated that Reeves' movie, The Joker sequel, and the still gestating Tenet, Tenet, hold on a second. Okay, Ta-Nehisi Coates' Black Superman movie will fall into a clearly labeled DC Elseworlds branding to delineate that they are separate from the DCU. Oh my gosh, a Black Superman, really? I don't know. I don't know if that's just gonna work, man. To be honest with you, that shit is not going to work. That shit is not gonna work, man. I'm sorry, but since when? Since when do you have a Black Superman in DC Comics? That's never happened in the years of people collecting comic books. Like, come on. You already have an African American person who goes by the name of John Stewart, who is the superhero at that. Why are you trying to put more? Why are you trying to put more? Well, actually, there's another person who Cyborg, actually. That's another African American person, of course. So yeah, I don't know, man. That shit's not gonna. I don't know if that's gonna really work. Anyway, man. Anyway, that right there. I don't know, man. But a Black Superman is going to be. It's going to be trash. Sorry, it's going to be fucking trash. And and this idea of a Black Superman, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to put this shit in. You're gonna have to put this shit in the fucking blender, man, for all I fucking care right now. I don't know if anybody's gonna care for this shit anyway, to be honest with you. That's not gonna I don't know, man. To be honest with you. Um oh my gosh, man. I don't know. That's not gonna really I don't know. It ain't gonna work. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. The booster's gold. Oh wow. So let's see. And this is from GQ. This is from GQ, the website that I'm using, in case you're wondering. Um, okay, so all right, so Booster Gold is imposter syndrome meets Back to the Future 2. The next HBO Max series will focus on the cult favorite. What? Yo, seriously, I feel like people are using the word cult too loosely, man. Like seriously, like shit. Cut it out already, man. Booster Gold. Okay, so Michael John Carter, a janitor from the future, steals superhero tech and travels to our modern day in hopes of being a hero. Gold is described as imposter syndrome as superhero and will likely skew more towards the comedic side of things. A Booster Gold project written by Thor's Zach Stentz was completed in 2019 and passed along to Greg Berlanti to direct, but it's likely that version won't be reused here. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is Galactic True Gift. Based on the recent Tom King and Bill Keyes Eve Lee miniseries of the same name, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow will be a film featuring a darker take on Supergirl. In King's story, a hardened and jaded Supergirl ends up being enlisted by a young girl to avenge the death of her father, a, tr- a log true grit. Gunn says the tale will highlight the difference between Superman's upbringing on Earth versus Supergirl, who was raised on a rock, a chip off of Krypton, and who watched everyone around her die and be killed in terrible ways for the first 14 years of her life and then come to Earth. She is much more hardcore and not the Supergirl we're used to. Swamp Thing will bring things to a scary close. The horror film, the horror film Swamp Thing will bring Gunn's first chapter of the DCU to a close. Little information was provided about the movie other than it's a very dark story that's totally outside of the DCU, but will still feed into the rest of the stories. In the comics, scientist Alec Holland is murdered after a bomb goes off and becomes an avatar of the Green with the full command of nature at his will. Considering Gunn is pos- positioning Swamp Thing as a horror tale, anticipate the project tweaking the origins and leaning into Cronenberg style body horror while functioning as an environmental conservation tale. Hmm. And let's see. In other James Gunn news, let's see. Yes, so Crisis on Infinite DCU reboots. The new DC Studios roadmap is here, or at least part of it is, and it leads up to a pretty obvious question. Haven't we heard this song and dance before? Every few years, DC tells us things are going to be different this time. I swear. Sometimes the reboot is in the comics, other times it's in the film and television universe. But two things remain the same. Things haven't been different, and we keep showing up anyway. Enter James Gunn and Peter Safran, new co-CEOs of DC Studios, new execs, new creators, and a new slate gives us a lot of things to be excited about on paper. But will the studio actually pull it off this time? Jesse Jesse Sheeden and Amelia Amberwing, two of IGN's DC experts across its respective mediums, sat down to hash out whether very this is all very exciting or just the same thing we've heard before wrapped up in pretty paper with James Gunn's face on it. Okay, so okay, so we've heard this song and dance before. So Jesse states, even the diehard DC fans have to be looking at this news with a little bit of skepticism. DC has become notorious over the years for constantly course correcting and pivoting and changing strategies, only to do it all over again when the strategy doesn't immediately pay off or one round of Warner Brothers executives is replaced by another. I still remember when DC's plan following the failure of Justice League was to pivot away from the DCEU branding and instead emphasize worlds of DC. The idea there was to create the DC multiverse and not worry about maintaining a single cinematic universe. Then Black Adam was supposed to change the hierarchy of power in the DC universe, and maybe it did, but only in the sense that DC followed up another underperforming blockbuster with a massive internal overhaul and another shift in direction. There are obvious ways in which this latest reset is very different from what's come before, but it's hard to feel very optimistic for a company that struggled for so long to get its act together. And even if this new strategy does begin to gain momentum and right the ship over the next few years, what happens if Warner's is dragged through yet another destructive merger? What if the rumors the rumors about Warner Brothers being prepped for sale to Comcast pan out? Will the new bosses still be as committed to the DCU? After all these years, it's hard to not immediately fall into pes- pessimism about DC cinematic universe strategies. There have been so many times. So okay, after all these years, it's hard to believe. So yeah. So Emilia says everything that Jesse just said is true. We have had the rug pulled out from under us so many times and in so many different ways over the years. Tangent, tangent, tangentially related. We had to watch the CW and HBO nail the essence of so many of our favorite characters, while the film cast other actors and wrote other scripts to do worse jobs. DC's a mess, and I should shout it from the rooftops about it more than most in the last decade. Something feels different this time, though, and maybe that's just me being naive or just putting a whole lot of faith in James Gunn. Maybe it's because I know that they are going to give television its due and understand how much of an asset long form storytelling can be to their universe thanks to the utilization of Peacemaker. Either way, I am dropping my cranky bat family ways and going the way of the Kryptonian on this one. Okay, so does Gunn's involvement make an does Gunn's involvement make a difference? Um, Amelia says, I've taken a lot of well-earned pot shots at Warner Brothers Discovery over the last year, but hiring James Gunn and Peter Safran to head the DCU is the smartest move they could have made. Even before the upcoming film and television slate was announced, the two brought a certain amount of credibility with their partnership on the smash hit Peacemaker and their numerous other projects together. But let's talk about Gunn's involvement specifically because what he brings to the table here extends well beyond his ability to work with incredible ensembles and take some of our favorite characters from page to screen. We haven't just gotten to watch Gunn grow as an artist from humble beginnings at Trauma all the way to the marvels that are the Guardians of the Galaxy films, but also as a person. We see so many creators decide to stop listening, but his curiosity and willingness to learn give him a level of empathy that is necessary to bring a wide, diverse lineup of characters to life. And while we don't have any evidence to support it yet, it's my hope that those qualities will also mean that he steps aside and trusts the other directors he brings in as well. Sameness and cohesion don't always go hand in hand. And while cohesion is critical for a shared universe, sameness is one of the most frequent critiques of Marvel for a reason. It's okay for different directors to bring their own styles to these films. Moreover, we have seen this guy's unconditional love for these stories time and time again because of those humble beginnings and because of Gunn's love for writing. He shows a certain passion for the stories that we don't always see from studio execs. A love that extends beyond their own creations and the original comics that got them there. And Jesse says there's not going to be any disagreement here. I not only agree with Amelia's assertion that hiring Gunn and Saffron was the smartest move um, Warner Brothers Discovery could have made. I wrote that article already. Frankly, Gunn's involvement is my biggest source of optimism in this whole DCU experiment. He's established himself as one of the best directors in the superhero game right now because he knows how to navigate the complexities of big budget filmmaking while keeping his quirky indie voice fully in play. The Guardians movies are some of the best of the MCU because he's so great at combining oddball characters and wacky action with deeply emotional drama. Amelia's right. Gunn shows a clear passion in his work, and it says something that he could have followed the Russo brothers in pivoting to smaller projects after his MCU tenure ended instead of diving right into another superhero universe. Trying to right the DC ship has to be one of the most thankless jobs in Hollywood right now. But Gunn and Safran not only have the chops to do the job, they seem to actively want it and love these characters every bit as much as the fans. Okay, so can the Flashpoint for the DCU have the impact it did in the comics and on the CW? Jesse says Flashpoint is sort of a weird story in that it's never been very good about setting the stage for a rebooted DC universe. That's not really a criticism of the story itself. The original 2011 comic is a solid crossover set in one of the more memorable alternate DC timelines we've ever seen. It's an even better Batman story than it is a Flash story, which is probably why Flashpoint's Thomas Wayne has taken on a life of his own in the years since. And there's also the 2013 animated movie, which distills everything down into its best and most streamlined form. But again, what's come after Flashpoint has never really lived up to its promise. Flashpoint was the catalyst of 2011's New 52 reboot in the comics, where DC relaunched its entire comic book line with a streamlined con- continuity. Yeah, and a more contemporary approach. The New 52 line was pointlessly dark and edgy, and the compressed 5-year timeline never remotely made sense with characters like Batman. Worst of all, pretty much every great book from that era could just as easily have existed without the reboot. DC finally gave up on the experiment after a few years, with 2016's DC Universe Rebirth starting the slow process of bringing back everything the New 52 removed from the playing field. Um, yeah. The playing field, yeah. Let's see. Playing field. Yeah, the animated movie line fell into the exact same problem. Justice League, the Flashpoint paradox set up a rebooted universe heavily modeled after the New 52, and the quality was never there. It got so bad that DC finally had to kill off the universe in Justice League Dark. Apocalypse War by sending Barry Allen back in time to rewrite history yet again. The Arrowverse's Flashpoint is interesting in that it took a much smaller scale approach to the story. The whole story was confined to one episode of The Flash without any of the gun-toting Batman and Pirate Admiral Deathstroke zaniness. Yes, zaniness of the comic. And because of that, it didn't wind up having a major impact on the universe as a whole. Flashpoint was just that season's MacGuffin for introducing metahuman villains. None of those versions of Flashpoint really make a strong case for this story being the right tool to rewrite a superhero universe. In the case of the comics and the animated movies, the resultant new universe was so messy and frustratingly inconsistent in quality that the powers that be wound up nuking the whole thing. With the Arrowverse, it didn't change much at all. So the Flash movie has a lot to prove if they expect this to be the version of the story where things actually change both for the better and permanently. Um okay, hold on. Damn. Okay, you know what? I am going to save the rest of this. Um I'm gonna save the rest of this for um I'll save the rest of this for um all right, I'll save the rest of this for a future episode where we get into what's going on with the Wonder Woman movie. You know, there's so much to cover. Um let me see. Let me see. So all right, let's get to the basics. Okay, so in other James Gunn news, as of now, it's unknown how James Gunn's DCU will truly begin, but it would be a bad idea for the Flash to be the starting point. Following James Gunn and Peter Safran being appointed co-CEOs of DC Studios, it was announced that the DCU would have received a complete overhaul from what had originally made up the DC Extended Universe. Very little is known about the new slate for the DCU outside of Gunn helming a new Superman movie focused on a younger Superman. And one question that people have had is how the old DCEU will be closed off for the new DCU. Hmm. Yeah, that's a good question. That is a good question right here. Um. All right. So what we have here is. Hang on a minute. All right, so one common theory for how the DCEU will end up is that it will happen via the Flash. 2022's The Flash is set to incorporate elements of Flashpoint, which was famously used to reboot the DC Comics in 2011. So it would make sense for the movie to be used to reboot the DCEU into the DCU. That being said, using the Flash to kickstart the DCU would be a mistake, and there are a lot of reasons as to why that is. Let's see. The first reason why the Flash shouldn't be used to start the DCU is that the DCU needs a clean slate away from the DCEU. Ever since it's first started, most movies in the DCEU have been met with mixed and negative reception, and even the critical hits often underperformed at the box office. Aquaman and 2017's Wonder Woman being notable exceptions. Add in the discourse surrounding the Snyderverse, and the DCEU is filled with too many problems to work around cohesively. As such, the excuse me, DCU happening in universe because of the DCEU would only extend those issues, so it would make more sense to avoid them altogether. Um, while it might be disappointing to some people, having the DCU start on a completely clean slate is the best move going forward. Not only would that allow it to avoid the baggage of the DCEU, but by establishing itself as its own entity, the DCU can be judged on its merits as opposed to how it compares to the DCEU, considering how divisive the DCEU ended up becoming. The DCU would more than benefit from something like that. So it would probably be weirder if that wasn't the plan for the DCU. Another reason why Andy Muschietti's The Flash shouldn't be used to start the DCU is because of the complications surrounding the casting of Ezra Miller. In 2022, Miller was constantly in the news due to the reports of their court cases, which involved robbery, assault, the grooming of a minor, and refusal to appear in court when the parents of said minor filed for a restraining order. Miller has reportedly apologized for the past behavior and begun treatment for their mental health issues, but these actions still cast a negative light over the Flash. So having it kickstart the DCU would be nothing but a turnoff for many people. Ezra Miller's past behavior has created issues for the Flash that can't be ignored, so it would certainly be in the best interest of James Gunn's DCU to not be tied to it in any way. That can easily be achieved by not having the Flash create the DCU with a universal reset, and it can be sold even further by casting someone new for the Flash, just like how Superman and other characters are being recast for the DCU. There's already a lot of derision surrounding the DCU rebooting the DCEU. So there's no need to further emphasize that by adding in the controversy of Miller's past actions. Um, a third reason why the Flash uh, shouldn't be used to create the DCU is that it would make it feel like a spinoff of the DCEU. The DC's The Flash serves as the in-universe reason for the DCU's existence. Then that would give the impression that there would always be some degree of connection between the DCU and the DCEU. If that happened, then it would be impossible to reasonably talk about the DCU without drawing comparisons to the DCEU. So if the DCU wants to be judged solely on its own merit, then it can't do anything that would imply they shared any degree of con- continuity. Um, the shortcomings of the DCEU also justify avoiding that sort of issue. As previously discussed, the DCEU had problems with making its content land with people from the very beginning. So if Ezra Miller's The Flash was responsible for the DCU, then the DCU would feel less like a fresh start and more like another attempt at making the DCEU work. At this point, it's been made abundantly clear that the DCEU isn't going to work, so the DCU should try and distance itself from it as much as possible. Final major reason why the Flash shouldn't be used to start the DCU is that it would establish a multiverse element far too soon. The nature of DC's Flashpoint is inherently tied to the multiverse, especially with how it started the New 52. So the Flash adapting Jeff Johns' Flashpoint to a certain extent, it could easily establish a multiverse. That's fine for the DCEU at this point, but having the DCU start with such a big concept could come across as it moving too fast. A common complaint of the DCEU. So it would be better for the DCU to take its time with establishing a multiverse. Um, the DCU would also be better off not jumping straight into the multiverse because of the MCU. Phase 4 has been the start of the MCU doing its own exploration into the multiverse. So if the DCU began with its own take on the multiverse, that would invite constant comparisons between the two that would overtake most discussions about the DCU, something that was a constant issue for the DCEU. Comparisons between the MCU and the DCU are inevitable, but the DCU shouldn't go out of its way to invite them. So it would be best if the Flash wasn't used to bring in the multiverse so quickly. Okay, there you have it right there. That's your cause and effect. And of course, DC getting a reboot. Let's see. All right, should we go into some music news? Yes. Finally, let's do this. De La Soul finally is coming to streaming services. Let's see. And let's see. So De La Soul, one of the pioneers of hip hop, is finally bringing their classic albums to streaming service on March 3rd, 2023. Mark your calendars. Folks, the group's first 6 albums, including their 1989 debut, 3 Feet High and Rising, will be available on digital streaming service after decades of legal issues. The groundbreaking album, which brought a happy, psychedelic, flower bedecked vibe to hip hop, was certified platinum, reached number 1 on the Billboard R&B hip hop chart, and is widely recognized as one of the best and most influential albums in hip hop history. It also features songs like Me, Myself and I, Say No Go, The Magic Number, and Plug Tuning. The delay in releasing the catalog was due to complicated sample clearances and other legal issues. The group's members claimed in 2019 that per their contract that they would receive just 10% of streaming revenue and declined to sign off. The release of the catalog is preceded by the single "The Magic Number," which was used in the end credits of the 2021 blockbuster film Spider-Man: No Way Home, but was not legally available at the time. Reservoir Media acquired the Tommy Boy Records catalog, which include De La Soul's music, and will distribute the catalog via its Chrysalis Records. Faith Newman. Oh shit. Every time I see that fucking name, that makes me laugh so hard though, man. Oh man. Oh my gosh, man. That's funny right there. Oh boy. Wow. Wow, that's funny. That's the funniest shit that I've ever seen. Anyway. Oh man. Oh my lord, that's funny. Anyway, let's get to all right, Newman. Oh shit. Oh man. All right. Yeah, Newman Reserve Executive Vice President of A&R and Catalog Development commented, when Reservoir acquired Tommy Boy, the first call we made was to De La Soul. We vowed to bring their music to streaming, and it means the world to our team to make good on that promise and expose a whole new generation of listeners to one of the most important catalogs in hip-hop history. Reservoir President and Chief Operating Officer Rel Lafargue added, "We have worked tirelessly with De La Soul, maintaining a heightened attention to honoring the group's original music details, including bringing Prince Paul and the original team to the studio to prepare the catalog for streaming. Let's see. Let's see what else we got here. Yes. To celebrate the monstrous initiative, De La Soul will digitally release their hit single, The Magic Number, on January 13th, 2023, which already happened. The Chrysalis team will also support the group with a robust release campaign. All right. Let's make some noise for De La Soul, man. For real, for real. That has to be a good thing, man. For real. For real. This is a good thing. Okay. All right. Okay, so up next, first moments in hip hop you should know. All right, so hip hop is one of the most commercially successful genres in the modern music world. The genre's influence on culture is unrivaled, as evidenced by the power it has over other industries. It has revolutionized society, transcending trends, and reshaping language, entertainment, politics, fashion, and the list goes on. With its huge global reach, hip hop has continued to move the needle. As the genre turns 50 this year, celebrating 5 decades worth of history, relevance, and influence, there's something to be said about how this movement has continued to evolve for more than a quarter century, from the defining moments that have reshaped culture at large to critical milestones that have chronicled rappers' journeys to success in the multi-million dollar juggernaut. Hip hop is a hotbed for innovation. As time goes on, reviewing new moments in a genre with the largest overall market share in the US, the legacy of hip hop remains intact. The downtown, no downturn, excuse me, in 2022, um, compared to its previous metrics, only tells half the story. History is still being made. Um, Megan Thee Stallion is the latest rap star to change the status quo of hip hop again. Last year, the Grammy-winning rapper became the first Black woman to appear on the cover of Forbes' annual 30 under 30 issue. Not to mention the Houston hottie made more history making news back in 2021 when she posted for Sports Illustrated coveted swimsuit issue, making headlines as the first MC to do so. Over the years, a combination of major accomplishments have fueled speculation that hip hop has reached his apex. While the demand for instant success has increased significantly, notable influences like Kendrick Lamar, Young Boy, Never Broke Again, um, and various others are thinking long term, securing their own spot in the history books. Of course, you could check out 30 signatures, first in hip hop that um have changed the game forever. All right, I'm gonna go through the list. I'm gonna go through the list of names. Actually, I'm not gonna read the bio. So Kendrick Lamar, first rapper to win Pulitzer Prize for music. Megan Thee Stallion, first black woman on Forbes 30 under 30 cover. And Young Boy Never Broke Again, first rapper with a #1 album in 3 consecutive years. First rapper to mingle with a president. Eazy-E, first rapper to mingle with a president. Jay-Z, hip hop's first billionaire. Salt and Pepper and Herbie Love Bug Azer, first high profile hip hop couple. Salt and Herbie Love Bug Azer. Not gonna really get into the bio. Y'all can look at it for yourselves on the website www.xxlmag.com/hip-hop first. Play of Kid and first rapper to launch a clothing line. Play of Kid and Play. The Brat, first female solo rapper to go platinum. And Heather B, hip hop's first reality TV star. And Kid Capri, first mixtape DJ to get a record deal. TJ Swan, first rapper turned singer. Big Daddy Kane, first rapper to pose for Playgirl. Eric Sermon, first rapper to mysteriously jump out of a window. NWA, first rappers to have the feds come knocking. Azalea Banks, first rapper to be suspended from Twitter. Late great Old Dirty Bastard, first rapper to crash the stage at an award show. Slick Rick, first immigrant rapper to become a legendary one, who just turned 58 this year on his birthday. Will Smith, first rapper to win a Grammy. Run DMC, first rap act to merge hip hop and rock and roll. Late great Big Pun, first Latin rapper to go platinum. Fresh Fest, first major rap tour. 3 6 Mafia, first rap act to win an Oscar. Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, first female rap collaborations to debut at #1. Ice-T, first rap album to carry parental advisory sticker. And Curtis Blow, first rapper to perform at an arena. Logic, first rapper to have a #1 book. Queen Latifah, first rapper on Hollywood Walk of Fame. J. Cole, first non-basketball player on NBA 2K game cover. Drake, first rapper to pass 50 billion streams. Corrupt, first love triangle among rappers, Corrupt, Foxy Brown, and the late great DMX. And yeah, I think that's gonna really do with for this topic right here. So let's see what else we got on the agenda. Okay, J. Cole, Let's go to J. Cole. All right, so J. Cole might be returning with a new album in 2023. At least that's what fans are hoping for after noticing the North Carolina native has cleared out his Instagram page, a tactic often deployed by artists before kickstarting the rollout for a new project. After all, Cole previously wiped his Instagram clean in January 2019, days before dropping Middle Child, the lead single from Dreamville's star-studded Revenge of the Dreams 3 compilation that arrived that summer. Cole, who is not exactly prolific on social media, despite boosting almost 8 million followers on Instagram and a further 14.3 million on Twitter, has yet to confirm plans to release new music. But some fans are already speculating that he could be prepping the Fall Off or It's a Boy, two projects he teased as part of the Fall Off era back in 2020. It was in that same post he also teased the off season, which dropped in May 2021. The album, which boosted appearances from 21 Savage, Lil Baby, Cameron, and more, handed Cole his sixth consecutive solo number one on the Billboard 200 at the tallying 282,000 first week units. It was later nominated for Best Rap Album at the 2022 Grammy Awards. J. Cole just cleared his Instagram. Y'all think he's gonna drop It's a Boy on January 28th this year? One Twitter user asked, while another wrote, J. Cole has cleared his Instagram. Is he getting into release mode? Is the fall off coming sooner than we think? Another possibility is the soundtrack to Creed 3, which Dreamville has been tapped to executive produce. The movie starring Michael B. Jordan, Tessa Thompson, and Jonathan Majors, who is also in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, which is going to be released next Friday. Hits theaters on March 3rd. Despite not dropping a solo project in 2022, J. Cole still made his presence felt last year. The 37-year-old delivered show-stealing verses on tracks with Benny the Butcher, Bia, YG, Smino, and Earth Gang, while running point on Dreamville's D-Day Against the Girls mixtape with DJ Drama. His braggadocious appearance on Benny's Johnny P's Caddy was crowned one of Hip Hop DX's best rap verses of 2022, with writer Mark Elibert declaring what J. Cole did to the Alchemist produced beat should be considered a crime. Outside of music, Cole straightened his love affair with basketball by briefly suiting up for the Scarborough Shooting Stars in the Canadian Elite Basketball League. I had to let them know how incredible this was, he said of his 2-game stint with the team. The players, the coaching staff, the organization, the league. It's a crazy thing when you see it on paper, when you see what's actually happening, and they made me feel so welcome. He also made history as the first rapper to cover NBA 2K, appearing as both a playable character in 2K23 and the focus of its My Career Story mode. Wow. Wow. That's dope, man. That's really dope. That's really dope though. Really, really, really dope. Let's make some noise for J. Cole, man. This is very awesome right here, man, to actually hear. And you know, yeah, remains to be seen on new music and stuff, but let's make some noise for J. Cole. right. Another dope person, of course, obviously is 50 Cent. Let's get into 50 Cent for a sec. Yes, 50 Cent. 50 Cent is looking to put his stamp on the rap game in 2023 with the promise of new music along with a slew of projects from his ever expanding film and TV empire. The G Unit mogul took to Instagram on Sunday, January 1st, to salute his good friend Eminem's continued success after the Detroit rap icon reportedly raked in over 5 billion views on YouTube in 2022, making him the most popular rapper on the platform last year. Um, in his caption, 50 hinted at dropping new music as well as TV shows and movies in the years ahead in an effort to remind the world that he too has still got it. That's my boy. He wrote next to a headline about M's YouTube dominance. I'm I'm gonna remind people I'm nice this year. New music, new TV, new movie. Let's go. Um, let's see. 50 Cent was no slouch either when it came to YouTube streams in 2022. The Queens, New York native was reportedly among the 10 most popular rap artists on the platform with an impressive 1.8 billion views, despite having released just two songs last year. The Power Book 4 theme song, Power Powder, Respect, with Lil Durk and Jeremiah, and the unearthed Eminem collaboration is This Love '09. Only Nicki Minaj, Juice World, Lil Nas X, Future, Lil Baby, NBA YoungBoy, Drake, Doja Cat, and of course Eminem amassed most more views. I didn't put nothing out in a while. 50 brag in another post. I would be mad if I was new and I wasn't on that list. Snoop Dogg, DJ Quick, and MSNBC's Ari Melber were among those who applauded 50's longevity. Nice, stay relevant. Snoop commented while Quick wrote, 50 Cent, you are a legend. 2 seasons. The charts exist for the seasons you feel like working. Hmm. 50 Cent opened up his new music plans last summer, telling the Breakfast Club he has no desire to release another album. Instead, he flirted with the idea of dropping an EP or a soundtrack to one of his many TV series. I started working on some things, he told DJ Envy. It may not be the last album, it may be broken up into something that goes out with one of the television shows. But creatively, I got all the vehicles that I need to do it. I got 25 television shows. He added, in quote, I could put this EP connected to this, let it rock without having the pressure of it being a full album. If you look when the last time you seen the actual numbers on the sales of a record. 50, whose last album was 2014's Animal Ambition, elaborated on his plans in an interview with Hot 97's Ebro in the Morning in October, revealing he's adapted his approach to releasing new content after realizing his core audience are now at a very different place in their life compared to when he first broke onto the scene. Now those people are 43 years old, he explained. They are having that drink that they would have on premises at the nightclub. They are having it at home now. They meet the person they are hanging out with somewhere else, not in the nightlife, cause their kids are partying there. A musical comeback from 50 Cent in 2023 would be fitting, considering next month marks the 20th anniversary of his blockbuster debut album Get Rich or Die Trying, which dropped on February 6, 2003, home to hits like In the Club, PIMP, and 21 Questions. The chart-topping project cemented 50 Cent as a global superstar while reasserting the dominance of gangster rap. Currently 9 times platinum, Get Rich or Die Trying may well surpass 10 million sales this year and earn a coveted diamond plaque from the Recording Industry Association of America. It would mark 50's first diamond record and make him just the ninth rap act in history to achieve the feat, following the likes of Eminem, Tupac, and the Notorious B.I.G. Okay, so let me see what else we got to talk about here. Um, let me see. Yes, Ella Cool J had a recent birthday recently. He just turned on 50. Ella Cool J has been on the receiving end of some well-deserved flowers as the legendary rapper celebrated his 55th birthday. Excuse me, not 50th. My correction. 55th birthday this weekend. On Saturday, January 14th, a plethora of friends and fans flocked to social media to express their appreciation for the I'm Bad rapper whose career spans almost 4 decades. Born on January 14th, 1968 in Long Island, but raised in Queens, New York, LL Cool J burst onto the hip hop landscape as the first artist signed to Def Jam Records in 1984. His landmark debut album Radio was released in 1985, followed by Bigger and Defer 1987, Walking with a Panther 1989, Mama Say Knock You Out 1990, 14 Shots to the Dome 1993, Mr. Smith 1995, Phenomenon 1997, GOAT 2000, and many more. Continuing to break barriers for rappers, LL starred in his own sitcom In the House, which ran from 1995 to 1999 on UPN. While on the big screen, he appeared in several films such as Crush Groove, In Too Deep, Any Given Sunday, Deliver Us from Eva, and several others. In hold on. In 2017, LL became the first rapper to receive the Kennedy Center honors and was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with an award for musical excellence in 2021. His brand Rock the Bells paid tribute to him on Twitter, acknowledging his massive contributions to the culture. End quote. Wishing a very happy birthday to LL Cool J, the GOAT, Def Jam's first solo superstar, and of course, Rock the Bells founder in chief. Thank you for going above and beyond to make sure this culture we love is celebrated, elevated, and printed to shine from 73 till infinity. The tweets read. Um, Flair Flav showed LL some B-Day love in a tweet. Yo, happy birthday to my man LL Cool J. He wrote alongside an old pic of LL, Public Enemy, and Ecstasy and Houdini. Mr. C thanked LL for allowing him to DJ on his platform, writing happy B-Day to the man that put me on the box. Radio. LL Cool J, thank you for allowing me to be heard on a national platform on a daily basis with Rock the Bells Radio. I'm eternally grateful. Enjoy your day. And yes, so former NBA star and fellow Queens native Kenny Anderson also played tribute to LL. Happy birthday to our friend LL Cool J. We hope you are adding up lots of birthday wishes. We love you, Anderson wrote. Even Sesame Street showed its appreciation for Big Ellie, tweeting a video of LL on the show and the caption, "Happy birthday to our friend LL Cool J. We hope you are adding up lots of birthday wishes. We love you." And wow, I didn't even know he was on. I didn't even know he was on Sesame Street. Wow, interesting, interesting, interesting. Let's see. Let's see what else. When it comes to accolades, LL has received every honor imaginable except for a biopic. If that ever happens, Mac Wilds would love to play Mr. Smith. On Thursday, January 12th, the GOAT shared numerous photos from across his iconic career on Twitter. In the caption, he asked, "Should I do a biopic?" I mean, what are we talking about? Wiles tweeted in response, adding a laughing emoji. Wiles went on to explain to Hip Hop DX that playing LL is one of his dreams as an actor. Hell yes, I'd love to play LL, Wiles said. Okay, let me see. I've been trying to figure out if he do a biopic for years. Um, hold on, let me see who got in here. Um, Shout outs to Pick Six with Noah and Nick and and Mala Muhammad. Okay. All right, so Wiles added, in quote, "Ella was my very first concert. He did a free concert at Wingate Park in Brooklyn. My dad took me because he saw I really connected to his music. He was my first understanding of stage presence." Celebrating this week along with LL is another hip hop icon, Slick Rick. Hip hop's greatest storyteller turned 58 on Saturday, January 14th. Rick has much to celebrate after it was announced that he would receive a Lifetime Achievement Award at the 65th Annual Grammy Awards. Wow. 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 That's yes. That has to really rock right here, man. Um so hold on a second. Okay, let's make some noise for LL Cool J and along with Slick Rick celebrating their birthdays. Okay, up next, let's see what else. Let me see. Oh wow. All right. So I think I'm going to go to. Oh boy. All right. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. 2023 nominees and new board members. Let's get to that, and then we're gonna go to a list of music artists in Super Bowl 57, and all that other stuff. So we got a little bit more to do actually. And sorry for making this episode 3 hours, but so much topics to actually cover actually. So I have to do this. So, you know what I'm saying? So let's get into the nominees and new board members. All right. And I'm sorry for making this episode a little long, but you know what I mean? So here it is. So the Double XL Awards 2023 launched today since January 16th with new reveals of the nominees in all 12 categories. Artists nominated have been selected by the Double XL staff. Over the next week, 11 of the award winners will be determined by the Double XL Awards board, which is now made up of 214 label executives, A&Rs, marketing experts, managers, promoters, producers, DJs, publicists, select veteran artists, and more. The 12th award, the People's Champ, will be packed by the public. Fans can cast a vote once in an hour from now until Sunday, January 22nd already happened. The winners for all 12 categories will be announced on January 30th, already happened. So Double XL invited 56 new movers and shakers to join the awards board this year. A portion of the recent inductees are featured on a special digital cover. Newcomers pictured include Ashley Kolmanowitz, Brian Nolan, Cindy Agee, Danielle Price, Derek Aro, DJ Charisma, Dominic Prieto, Erica Coulter, Franz de Los Reyes, Isabel Quinteros, Ennis, James McMillan, Jason Davis, Jason Capana, Jason Wiley, Jenny Body, Canduro Ilfil, Lisa Wiggins, Luis Mota, Marley Dominguez, Michelle McDermott, Mike G, Mike Navarro, Peter Gideon Woe, Randy Henderson, Robert Gibbs, Ron Stewart, Ramon Alvarez Smickle, Shanae Corbett Rice, Wayno Clark, and Yashar Zadeh. Also added to the board, but not pictured, are Aisha White, Archie Davis, Cheryl Pagliarani, Colby Kolb Tyner, George G. Money Dickinson, Elliot Grange, Jay Bird, Katina Bynum, Keenan Johnson, Lanray Gaba, Little Bibby, Matt Zinger, Mako, Mustard, Nelson, Money Nels, Taboda, Nigel Talley, Peter Rosenberg, Pio Farrow, Sam Selwayne, Cyllin Bolt, Steve Ackles, Sidney Lopes, and Tariq Sheriff. Plus artists Ghostface Killer, Future, Jadakiss, Method Man, and Pusha T. You can see some of the newest board members on the cover. Check out all 2014 members on the XXL Awards board and view the nominees below, of course, obviously. Artist of the Year, 21 Savage, Drake, Future, Kendrick Lamar, Megan Thee Stallion, Pusha T, NBA Youngboy, Never Broke Again. Album of the Year, Drake and 21 Savage's Her Lost, Future, I Never Liked You. Lotto 777, Little Babies, It's Only Me, Little Durk, 720, Kendrick Lamar's Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, Pusha T's It's Almost Dry. And Song of the Year, DJ Khaled's God Did, featuring Jay-Z, John Legend, Lil Wayne, Rick Ross, and Friday. Drake and 21 Savage, Jimmy Cooks. Futures Wait For You, featuring Drake and Thames. Gunna and Futures Push and P, featuring Young Thug. Hit Kid and Glorilla's F&F Let's Go. Kendrick Lamar's The Heart Part 5. Nicki Minaj's Super Freaky Girl. Male Rapper of the Year, 21 Savage, Drake, Future, Kendrick Lamar, Lil Baby, Pusha T, Young Boy Never Broke Again. Female Rapper of the Year, Cardi B, Coi Leray, Doja Cat, Glorilla, Lotto, Megan Thee Stallion, and Nicki Minaj. Best New Artist of the Year, Babytron, Cochise, Glorilla, Ice Spice, Nardo Wick, Saucy Santana, and Yeet. Lyricist of the Year, Denzel Curry, Freddie Gibbs, Jid, Joey Badass, Kendrick Lamar, Nas, Pusha T. Producer of the Year, ATL Jacob, Boy Wonder, Dahi, Hit Kid, Metro Boomin, The Alchemist. Performer of the Year, Doja Cat, Jack Harlow, Kendrick Lamar, Lotto, Megan Thee Stallion, Pusha T, Tyler the Creator. Video of the Year, ASAP Rockies, aka Late Rockies, DMB. Hit Kid and Glorilla's F&F Let's Go. Jid's Dance Now. Kendrick Lamar's The Heart Part 5. Lil Uzi Vert's Just Wanna Rock. Nicki Minaj's Super Freaky Girl. Pharrell's Cash In, Cash Out, featuring Tyler the Creator and 21 Savage. Hip Hop Humanitarian of the Year, Cardi B, Chance the Rapper, Drake, Meek Mill, Megan Thee Stallion, Trader Truth, Vic Mensa. The People's Champ, 21 Savage, Cardi B, DJ Khaled, Drake, Doja Cat, Freddie Gibbs, Future, Glorilla, Jid, Kendrick Lamar, Kid Cudi, Lotto, Little Baby, Lil Durk, Megan Thee Stallion, Nas, Nicki Minaj, Pusha T, Yeet, Young Boy Never Broke Again. So there you have it right there. And so there you have it. Right. So I'm not even gonna go through all that. Y'all can look at this for yourselves at www.xxlmag.com/XXL Awards 2023 nominees. So y'all can check that out for yourselves. And let's see. Let me see what else we got on the agenda. Let's see. Okay. Really did that already. So let's get to so because Super Bowl is around the corner, let's go to that right here. So because Super Bowl is around the corner, we're gonna get into it right here. Let's get into it right here. So all right, so this is from Music in Minnesota. Okay. So for those of you who may not know, Super Bowl 57 is gonna take place in Arizona. All right, just to let you know what's going down. So the entire world is excited for Super Bowl 57 between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. The big game will take place at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Yes, Glendale, Arizona. The NFC Champion Chiefs, led by star quarterback Patrick Mahomes, will face a gritty and determined Philadelphia Eagles club. One of the highlights of the most popular event in American sports is the Super Bowl halftime show. This year, Rihanna will be in the spotlight for the big event. Of course, you can find. All right, so let's see who else is gonna be in it. So other than Rihanna, pop superstar Rihanna will be headlining the Super Bowl halftime show this year. So who else is going to be in it? So It's highly anticipated because Rihanna hasn't played a show since 2017. Her last album, Anti, was released all the way in back in 2016. Um, Rumor in the air has it that the Super Bowl halftime show will be Rihanna's big return to the stage. It's likely that she'll announce a new tour and even an album in its aftermath. One of the coolest things about the Super Bowl halftime show is that the main artist often brings out special guests. For example, during last year's Super Bowl halftime show, Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg welcomed many guests to perform with them. Some announced, others not. One big surprise was Nelly. It hasn't been revealed that special guest Rihanna will join her at the 2023 Super Bowl halftime show, but since she's so popular and has collaborated with so many artists, there are many guesses. Because of the hit Umbrella, wouldn't it be surprising to see Jay-Z make an appearance. Rihanna and Coldplay collaborated on Princess of China, so Chris Martin might make his second appearance at a Super Bowl halftime show, having main evented the spectacle in 2016. Other possibilities include Drake, um, Shakira, DJ Khaled, and Kendrick Lamar, who also appeared in last year's Super Bowl halftime show. Who else is going to be? Who is singing the national anthem? Highly renowned country singer and songwriter Chris Stapleton will be singing the national anthem at Super Bowl 57. Stapleton has been writing some of the biggest hits for other country stars for years, including it. If It Hadn't Been for Love by Adele, Crash and Burn by Thomas Rhett, and Don't Start Lying to Me Now by Josh Stone. In the last few years, Stapleton has struck out on his own and his and is one of the most highly sought after country performers. His last three albums, Traveler and From a Room, volumes 1 and 2, gained the top three spots in the top country albums chart in 2018, marking the first time an artist has done that since Garth Brooks in 1992. Some of the Stapleton's biggest hits include his cover of David Allen Cole's Tennessee Whiskey, starting over Broken Halos and Millionaire. In addition to Stapleton, 90s R&B legend will sing America the Beautiful, while Cheryl Lee Ralph will sing Lift Every Voice and Sing. Um, well, obviously, Rihanna's not gonna get paid at the Super Bowl halftime show. Per NFL rules, artists who play the Super Bowl halftime show don't receive any money for their efforts. The NFL covers all the costs of the production. The artists don't get paid, and Rihanna will be no different. Obviously, though, the promotional aspect of playing the Super Bowl halftime show will be incredible. It'll be a huge push for the tour and new album that she's likely to announce in its aftermath. Um, Rihanna's successful career, though she doesn't need an introduction from most people, Rihanna has been one of the biggest pop superstars of the last 20 years. She's sold over 250 albums worldwide, the second most of any female artist ever, behind only Madonna. The Barbados native released her first album, Music of the Sun, in 2005 and followed it with Girl Like Me in 2006. She hit the big time with 2007's Good Girl Gone Bad, establishing herself as one of the top performers of our era and one of its biggest sex symbols. Throughout the course of her career, Rihanna has collaborated with Eminem, Jay-Z, Kanye West, Drake, Shakira, and many more. Some of her biggest hits includes "We Found Love" featuring Calvin Harris, "Work" featuring Drake, "Diamonds," and "4 5 Seconds" featuring Beatle, Paul McCartney, and Kanye West. As mentioned, her last album, Anti, was released in 2016. It was the first album by a female artist to spend an astounding 200 weeks on the Billboard 200. Though she hasn't released anything since then, clearly she has something brewing, or else she wouldn't be playing the Super Bowl halftime show. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on with Super Bowl 57. And by the way, if you are in the East Coast, it Super Bowl 57 is is going to be on Fox 5, um, which is the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. By the way, it's going to start at 6:30 p.m. on Sunday, February 12th. For those of you that's not from New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, check your local listings for February 12th. Mark your calendars, all right? And make sure you grab your last minute foods, air fryers, your snacks, your chips, tortilla chips, cookies, beers, sodas, juices, wherever. Um, and of course, be sure to actually tune into the halftime show. Um, all right. And I'm pretty sure next week I'm probably gonna go over the Super Bowl commercial ads and stuff. So stay tuned for that right there. And that's pretty much it for what's going on with Super Bowl 57. And let's see what else. What else? And time for um hold on a minute here. Yeah, time for our okay, so 50 so AP ranks on the all right, so time for okay, time for our next segment right here, which is going to be let me see. Yes, movie Man Cave Popcorn. I'm going to be talking about the movie Knock at the Cabin, which knocked off Avatar, which is by surprise, by the way. That's interesting. That's crazy to hear, man. You know what I'm saying? That's very interesting to hear, and yeah, that's pretty interesting to hear. So that's interesting right here. Um, so let's get into yeah, we're gonna get into it right here. Um, if I can find the right thing, the right sound effect here. Hold on. Yeah, sorry about that. Um, I was looking for that right sound effect. Actually, sorry about that. Um, hold on.
Oh, you fuzzing, cookie-eating window muncher.
Sorry, that's not it. Sorry about that. Um, let's see. Okay.
Damn, son! You a big Dr. Peppuccino eating motherfucker, yeah?
Okay, that wasn't the one I was looking for. Sorry about that. um. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, let's get into it though. I'm sorry about that. Um. All right, let's get into where we talk about the anticipated movie that came out recently. All right, so Knock at the Cabin is number one in the box office, which is which is by David Bautista. No, excuse me, Dave Bautista. Yes, and his new band of unhinged apocalyptic survivors have dethroned the Navi at the box office. M Night Shyla no Shy Amalin's horror film Knock at the Cabin topped the domestic box office with a $14.2 million debut this weekend per ComScore. The film is also starring Jonathan Groff, Ben Aldridge, Kristen Coy, Nikki Amuka Bird, Abby Quinn, and Rupert Grint ended Avatar: The Way of Water's reign at number one after 7 weeks. It also marks Shia Malan's seventh number one film at the box office. I am pinching myself. The filmmaker tweeted Sunday of the news before sending love to fellow director and Avatar mastermind James Cameron, who he called a hero. Glad to be in theaters with you, Shia Malan said. Um, the film also follows a married couple played by Grove and Aldridge, who find themselves and their young daughter Coy being held hostage while vacationing at a remote cabin in the woods. Batista leads the group of home invaders, convinced that if the family doesn't choose one of their own to sacrifice, the world will come to an end. Oh shit. That's scary right there, man. To be honest with you. That's pretty scary. That's pretty scary right there, man, if you really want to get technical with this. Yeah, I'll be screaming my ass off too. Yeah, so let's get to it though. So yes, while some immerse themselves in apocalypse in the apocalypse. Others embarked on the trip of a lifetime with 80 for Brady, which touched down in second place at the box office. The sports comedy centered on four lifelong pals: Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, Rita Moreno, Sally Field, who go on a wild trip to see their football hero Tom Brady play at the 2017 Super Bowl debut with a game-winning $12.5 million. Wow. $12.5 million. All right. The Avatar sequel still remained in the top five this week in third place, earning $10.8 million more, and thus bringing the grand North American total to $636 million. Wow. The blockbuster film just last week became the 11th highest grossing domestic film of all time and fourth highest global movie of all time, trailing behind the first Avatar, Avengers Endgame, and another Cameron epic, Titanic. Another sequel, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, followed in fourth place, earning $7.9 million more for a total of $151 million. Wow. All right. Okay, so the army showed up this weekend and secured K-pop bands BTS the number 5 spot with the debut of BTS yet to come in cinemas. A special cinematic screening of the group's yet to come concert in Busan. It debuted across 1,111 locations to an impressive $5.1 million. Elsewhere at the global box office, China's The Wandering Earth 2 retained the top spot with a worldwide come of $501 million. All right. So AP has a list of 25 movies. So let's get into it right here. Um, all right. AP top 25 movies. Okay. All right. So with hundreds of new movies released each year, many of us depend on the expertise of the film critics to help curate our own watching a thoroughly communal yet deeply personal experience. Um, to honor the supporting role that entertainment journalism can play in this beloved pastime, the Associated Press on Thursday unveiled its inaugural AP Top 25 movie list. The AP Top 25 movies ranking is a distinctive honor roll of films released in 2022 as determined by a truly representative panel of 26 of the U.S. smartest movie experts working for AP affiliated news outlets. Here to explain what it is and how it works. All right. So the AP top 25 movies ranking is a new initiative adapted from a rich legacy. The global not-for-profit news cooperative AP Top 25 college football poll has been the authority in the sport since the All Media survey began in 1936. The sports poll has since expanded, including men's college basketball in 1949 and women's college basketball in 1977. The AP Top 25 movies ranking now joins the storied tradition. So I'm not even gonna go into all this shit though. So let's see. Let's get into. Hold on a second. The top 25. So let's get into the list, man. So the full list includes number one, the Banshees of Inisherin. Number two, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Number three, Tar. Number 4, Nope, The Woman King, which nobody cared about. Triple R, Top Gun Maverick. Number 7, number 8, The Fablemans. Number 9, Women Talking. Number 10, Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery. After Sun, number 11. Number 12, Decision to Leave. Number 13, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Number 14, Elvis. Number 15, All the Beauty and the Bloodshed. Number 16, Avatar: The Way of Water. Number 16, The Whale. What happened to 17? I didn't see 17 on here. 17, 18, Babylon. 19, She Said. 20, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. Number 21, Triangle of Sadness. 22, number 22, Till. Number 23, EO. Number 24, Turning Red. And number 25, No Bears. Okay. Okay. Let's get to okay, Hits the Musical. Let's get into that. I want to shout out somebody who's also in the play too. As soon as I find it, actually. For those of you who may not know what Hits the Musical is about, I'll fill you in on this. Okay, so, and this is from their website, www.thehitstour.com. Until Hits the Musical, there was never been a show with only performers ages 10 through 22. Some might say they are too young and not ready for the big time, and how wrong they would be. After a nationwide search this past summer of over 7,000 auditionees, the cast of 29 represent the most extraordinary singers and dancers in the country. These future recording artists and Broadway stars represent the very best of America's youth. The national tour begins on March 1st, 2023, and continues to 48 different cities across the United States. Nothing will prepare for nothing will prepare you for this amazing combination of talent, passion, hope, and innocence, all with one single unified goal: to do what they love to do and share their journey with you. Um, of course, obviously, prepared to be amazed by the magnificence and beauty of America's best young superstars. You will leave feeling better than you have in a long time. Chloe Laurie, Broadway performer. Rotobia, Broadway recording artist, lead singer, and Trans Siberian Orchestra. Okay, Hits the Musical features a diverse cast of 19 remarkable singers and 10 extraordinary dances that hails from the East Coast to the West and from large metropolitan areas as well as small towns like Tenafly, New Jersey, Queen Creek, Arizona, and Jamestown, North Carolina. These budding young superstars range in age from 10 to 22. The two youngest are from Louisville, Kentucky, and the two oldest are from Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The cast members' accomplishments and credits are too numerous to mention, but can be seen by clicking on their individual profile pictures. Some are still flying under the radar, but with their immense talent, that won't be true for long. In fact, one of those unknowns, 10-year-old Nella Hilden, has received more than 1.7 million views on TikTok while rehearsing with the cast. But regardless of age, color, sex, or other orientation, the cast of 19 remarkable singers and 10 extraordinary dancers represent the very best of the nation's youth, and they are delighted to have the opportunity to bring love and happiness to the world while taking audiences on a musical journey performing America's greatest hits. And okay, so the cast, let's go to the cast actually. So, um the cast includes D. Corey Johnson, J.J. Carandang, uh, Carson Taylor. You have Nella Hilden, Mia Lieberwright, Jacob Vela, um Joseph Joseph Wright, Brooke Newman. Damn. Another Newman name. Oh wow. Lauren Pursuta, Mackenzie Lewis, um Jaden Diaz, Genevieve um Godleski, um Matthew Jost, Jacob Rossi, Kaylee Molina, Asada Sun, Sean Taylor, Caitlin Yamano, Bell, Bell Bongiorno, Julia Davo, Jalil Battles Jr. There's Connor Kloss, Madeline Underwood, Josiah Villano, Lily Greenberg, Colin Mash, and shout outs to Alyssa Ragu, who I actually reviewed her Dreamscape album in episode 90 of my other platform, Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast. I'm really proud of her and actually hope that she continues success. Keep up the good work and stuff and this musical hits, the musical, and of course Cassidy Gavagan and Nasser Butler. And yes, so that's pretty good though, man. And of course, executive and creative Diane Warwick, Damon Elliott, Thaddeus M. Bullard, Bob Grice, Cynthia Negvaso, Chloe Laurie, Tony Bruno, Grady Bowman, Camille Truss, Courtney Lopez, Barry Lather, Cynthia Nordstrom, not to be confused with the store, Paul Monroe. So shouts to Alyssa Ragu and the cast for being in this play. I hope Alyssa nails this. I really hope she does. And you can buy tickets from their website, www.thehitstour.com, and you can check out the cast and the executives behind there, and you can follow Hits the musical on their social media platforms, which is Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Make sure you follow this platform, Hits the Musical. All right, you can check them out, check out the links, and check out the pricing of the tickets. And as far as the tour, let's go to the tour. Let me make sure I include this too. So the tour starts February 23rd, and which is Asheville, North Carolina. February 23rd, 25th, Asheville, North Carolina. March 1st, Concord, New Hampshire. March the 2nd, Albany, New York. March the 3rd, Rochester, New York. March the 4th, Boston, Massachusetts. March 7th, New Haven, Connecticut. March 8th, Englewood, New Jersey. March 9th, New York City. March the 10th, Glenside, um, Pennsylvania. March 11th, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. March 12th, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. March 15th, Cleveland, Ohio. March 16th, Columbus, Ohio. March the 17th, Dayton, Ohio. March 18th, Easton, um, Eastern Pennsylvania. March the 19th, Baltimore, Maryland. March 22nd, Washington, D.C. And also on March 23rd, Durham, North Carolina. March 24th, Charlotte, North Carolina. March 25th, Norfolk, Virginia. March 26th, Charleston, South Carolina. March 28th, Atlanta, Georgia. March 29th, Orlando, Florida. March 30th, Jacksonville, Florida. April 1st, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. April 2nd, Tampa, Florida. April 5th, Birmingham, Alabama. April 6th, Huntsville, Alabama. April 7th, Nashville, Tennessee. March 8th, Louisville, Kentucky. April 8th, Louisville, Kentucky. April 12th, Lexington, Kentucky. April 13th, St. Louis, Missouri. April 14th, Chicago, Illinois. April 15th, Detroit, Michigan. April 16th, South Bend, Indianapolis. April 19th, Appleton, Wisconsin. April 20th, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. April 21st, Minneapolis, Minnesota. April 22nd, Des Moines, Iowa. April 23rd, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. April 25th, Kansas City, Missouri. April 27th, San Antonio, Texas. April 28th, Dallas, Texas. April 30th, Houston, Texas. May 3rd, Phoenix, Arizona. May 4th, Tucson, Arizona. May 6th, Los Angeles, California. And last but not least, May 8th, San Francisco, California. So these locations that I just mentioned, you can buy your tickets. You can buy your tickets, and of course, be sure to beware brokers and third-party sellers will mark up ticket prices. Therefore, make sure that you always buy from the official ticketing sources linked below the best pricing and available seats. So there you go, right there, man. You can buy your tickets from their website, www.thehitstour.com. All right. And you can follow their social media handles: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And subscribe to their channel for more details. All right, so let's get into things to do for the weekend. All right, let's do this. All right. Okay. I'm not gonna have time to get to places to do for California, Los Angeles, California. You For those that's living in Los Angeles, California, you can go to the website www.timeout.com/things to do in Los Angeles, California. So you could take a look at the events that's going on for this weekend coming up and the week after. So starting with February 10th, which is today, Modern Matinees Documentary Visions double feature join the Museum of Modern Art as it explores the socialization, hardships, and triumph of women through film. The 1971 film Growing Up Female, directed by Julia Reichardt, and Jim Klein, will be shown first. It follows six women of various ages and the forces that shaped them. The 1976 film Union Maids, directed by Julia Reichardt, Jim Klein and Miles Mugalescu will be shown afterwards. It tells the story of three women working in industrial factories. Their combined running time is 100 minutes, and showing starts at 1 p.m. In the Roy and Nueta Titus Theater. Two of the MoMA tickets are $12 for adults, 10 for seniors, $8 for students, and free for children and members. Museum of Modern Art is located at 11 West 53rd Street in Midtown Manhattan, New York. Right. Okay. Um all right. Okay. Another thing to do for the weekend. Um Another thing to do for the weekend is self-assisted tax preparation with Food Bank at George Bruce Library. Um Need help filing your taxes? Food Bank for New York City can help. Its free tax filing service is back. The free class starts at 11 a.m. at George Bruce Library. IRS certified coaches will be available to answer questions and guide you through the filing process, ideal for adults. The event is first come, first serve, but appointments are available at goOnceHub.com/NYP L libraries to see if you qualify. Visit um um www.foodbanknyc.org/tax help for food bank's tax preparation requirements. For more information and a full list of tax assistance locations, visit nypl.org/tax help. George Bruce Library is located at 518 West 25th Street, Morningside Heights, New York. Saturday, February 11th, the weekend tribute party, Valentine's Day yacht cruise. Some of New York's most iconic sights while dancing the night away to the weekend's greatest hits on the Valentine's weekend cruise. Enjoy a 3-hour cruise of the New York City harbor with sights of the Manhattan skyline, Ellis Island, Brooklyn Bridge, the Statue of Liberty. Food and drinks will be available for purchase. The dress code is dress to impress. Age no open to ages 21 with physical ID present. Free street parking is available around the departure area. General admissions tickets cost $40.21. VIP tickets are $51.17. VIP bottle packages for groups range from $265.91 to $526.01. Party photographer packages cost $213.89. Birthday and special occasion flyers cost $56.83. Wow. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that. Motorcycle. Okay, so for more information, wait, hold on. Event is rain or shine. Boarding starts at 11 p.m. and the event ends at 3 a.m. For more information and special reservations, visit RSVP at iBoatNYC.com or call and text Alan at 646-263-4593. Tickets are also available at eventbrite.com and it's located at So Skyport Marina is located at 2430 FDR Drive, Kips Bay. All right. And Cupid's comedy, the stand-up comedy night for the Valentine's season. Looking for a laugh this Valentine's season? Check out Cupid's comedy at the Triad Theater. Get in the romantic mood with Valentine's inspired routines from some of New York City's best up and coming comedians, some of whom have been featured on America's Got Talent, Netflix, and Seth Meyers. The venue has a 2 item food and beverage minimum for all attendees. The food and beverage menu is available at triadnyc.com. And the show is from 9:30 to 10:45 p.m. Tickets start at $21. Tickets are available at eventbrite.com. Triad Theater, 158 West 72nd Street, Upper West Side in New York. Finally, February 12th, 25th annual New York City Lunar New Year Parade and Festival continue the New Year celebrations at New York City's 25th annual parade and festival in Chinatown and Little Italy. Enjoy cultural performances and parade floats depicting Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Malaysian, Taiwanese, Vietnamese, and even Hispanic culture. The parade starts at Canal and Mott Streets, goes to um, Chatham Square, turns onto East Broadway toward the Manhattan Bridge and finishes on Eldridge and Forsyth Streets towards Grand Street, close to Sarah D. Roosevelt Park. And it's open to all ages and it's free. 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Arrive early to get a good spot along the route. And of course, birding with the birds. Join urban park rangers on a hike to discover the bird species that call New York City home during the winter season. The rangers will guide you to the best spots for bird watching. All ages and skill levels are welcomed. Bring your own binoculars. It's free. 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Meet at Broadway and Arden Street in Fort Tryon Park. All right. Okay. All right. I think that's gonna do for. Hold on a minute. I think that's gonna do it for this episode right here. I didn't mean to make it this long, but because of the topics and stuff, I had to make sure that I include some of the stuff. So, yeah, let's get into stream choices on the go right now. Let's do it. All right, you know what to do, folks. Um, Most of you out there probably know, but I'll fill you in. If you like what you heard in today's episode, um, despite despite um despite how long it is, why don't you go ahead and show your love by following Off the Meat Rack Chainz New York podcast on Facebook alongside with Instagram, alongside with my sports podcast platform, which is the Sports Edition show of Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, and alongside with Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast review show. And of course, um, you can follow your homie right here, G Money Stacks. G Money Stacks is on Instagram, which is G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York. Hold on a second here. Sorry about that, folks. I had to lower the volume because of the planes and the motorcycle and other actions around my way. on my block. So anyway, G Money Stacks in Queens, New York, 555 on there. Turn on your notifications so you can be in the know on when each when each episode is going to be dropping and all that great stuff right there. And of course, if you go to the link in bio where it says Linktree/G Money Stacks 555, it's going to have a whole list of audio streaming platforms where you can listen to the podcast episodes right there. And speaking of which, you can leave a voice message on anchor.fm/G Money Stacks slash message. That's anchor.fm/G Money Stacks slash message. If you have any comments about the topics, what you thought about the topics and stuff. Let us know in the comments and stuff. And how do you feel about the topics? And how do you feel about James Gunn's changes to reboot the whole DC the DCU and as far as like the idea of a Black Superman movie, which is kind of corny by the way, and all that shit. So anyway, yes, starting with Anchor, man. Anchor, Audacity, Audible, Audio Burst, Amazon Music, Breaker, Castbox FM, Deezer, Listen Notes, Moon FM Podcast Player, FM, Pocket Cast, Podbay, Podfriend, Podopolo, Podorama, Podcast Index, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Podverse, Reason FM, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, iHeartRadio, the number one app for music, radio, and podcast. And be sure to, and you don't need a credit card or a debit card to download these apps. You can download these apps onto your iPhones, your Android phones, iPads, Android tablets, your laptops, which includes your Apple Mac laptops, Dell laptops, which includes Windows as well. Whatever Windows versions you have, you can download these apps onto your laptops as well. And of course you can follow this podcast right here, Off the Meat Rack Chainz New York podcast on iHeartRadio as well. So hold on a minute. Yes, follow this podcast right here, Off the Meat Rat Chainz New York podcast. That's on iHeartRadio alongside with my other shows that I do on a weekly basis. The Sports Edition show, Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, alongside with Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast, review show that's also on there as well. And finally, make sure you grab that subscribe button on the YouTube channel page of G Money Stacks 555, where you have the New York episodes already uploaded and posted to the YouTube channel page. Click on the noti bell along with enabling the alerts for reminders of when the time of the recording of each podcast episode is going to be starting. Leave a like and a comment along with the episodes, along with the topics that's being discussed. Stay tuned for more video content, upcoming episodes, previous episodes, and of course, download these episodes, share the episodes, share the videos. Be sure to listen, stream, listen, and watch the episodes in case you miss any of them. Don't worry, everything's all there, posted to every streaming platform that you can think of right here. And of course, tell a friend to another friend. Spread the word. Word of mouth is important. And of course, be sure to share the link along with the podcast with your husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, and your friends, along with the people you are cool with from work, and alongside with meeting new people at festivities, barbecues, parties, wherever. All right. That's gonna do it for me. I'm sorry for the long episode. I just wanted to include the musical because of Alyssa Ragu. Shouts to her one more time. And if you don't know, make sure you go follow um Hits the Musical on Instagram alongside with TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Make sure you follow Alyssa Ragu and her journey on Instagram as well as TikTok. And of course, be sure to remember the grind doesn't stop. Hard work pays off. New York wasn't built in a day. And of course, be sure to also remember that you only can make yourself happy by finding and looking for something that makes you smile creatively, mentally, physically, and spiritually, and alongside with being on your P's and Q's, finding your voice, be confident, being yourself in your voice, and of course, um, and of course, it also includes being able to find that to find something that clicks to you that gets you into your zone. Um, alongside with tunnel vision. Um, and yes, that's gonna do it. That's gonna do it, man. I'm your man G Money Stacks. Thank you very much for listening and tuning in and rocking with me on episode 235. And I appreciate every single one of you who took the time to actually listen. And I'm sorry for the long episode of 3 hours. Let me just wrap this up in a bow. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time in the next episode. And remember, grab your air fryers, grab your foods, your chips, potato chips, tortilla chips, dips, beers, juices, sodas, whatever you can think of whatsoever. And of course, peace and one love. Stay liquid. Enjoy Super Bowl 57. And I'll be back next week to review the Super Bowl 57 commercial ads and everything else that went down through highlights. And of course, be careful out there. Peace and one love. Enjoy Super Bowl 57 weekend. And good night, everybody.